Welcome, folks, once again to Braveheart, 88.7 FM, Pennsylvania American Patriot Radio, the small station with the big mouth. We got three big mouths in the booth, but we're not getting anywhere.
Not locally, anyway.
We are still not broadcasting. I cannot begin to tell you how pissed I'm getting.
Like I said earlier, what makes it bad is we're dealing with a problem that we didn't have before when we bought the new...
How many years?
5, 6. This is 6 years. This is 13. Almost 7 years with this equipment.
With the current setup, yeah.
With the current setup.
It was supposed to be just plug and play, let it fly, no big goddamn deal. Guess what?
Somebody made it...
Murphy found out, and he's screwing with us.
Yes, somewhere along the line they made a design change in one of the chips.
And apparently it requires a little bit more power to drive everything and get up to snuff.
Apparently an engineer got a hold of it. Engineers live by the credo, if it works, fix it till it doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
How many times have I said something similar? Oh! But we'll get into all that here in just a bit. You know, to be perfectly honest, I think I'm going to enjoy the couple weeks we're going to be taking off.
Speaking of which, you're invited to the mountains, and I do expect to see you. If not, when I come down, I am going to kick your ass from here to China.
You gotta catch me!
It won't be that hard, because you can't run any better than I can.
I can run faster scared than you can mad.
Just remember, you cannot outrun a 45.
Let me chew on that one a bit.
We'll slow you down.
Well, okay. Well, yeah. I'm trying to figure out a way around this, and there really isn't.
There ain't none on that one.
Especially because I know you're a better shot than I am, you old bastard. Anyhow, hi.
Hello.
Hello. We are in the new year. We are going to work on that. We've already determined that we can, when we're fucking around, actually produce harmony.
You mean we can carry a tune in a bag across the street?
With three of us together, kind of, sort of, maybe.
Is that so? Is that so? It's wired shut so it don't escape?
Don't know.
No. Okay.
We'll find out. We'll find out. But somehow during the new year, we've got to figure out a way to get the hello down. That is my New Year's resolution.
Oh,
to get you fuckers to sing.
A noble goal, if an impossible one.
To dream the impossible dream.
Let me try that.
No,
Oh,
no,
damn.
not until I get you some coaching. Besides, we got enough busted equipment over here as it is. I am your host, Michael Wagner. I'll be with you here for the next 3 hours here on our last get-together of 2014.
I would never get this far.
After Y2K, I really didn't think we'd get this far at all. I am stunned by it.
Yes.
But we may talk about that after we get to 2014. We ain't there yet. Be with you here for the next 3 hours there. This last get-together of the year. It is the 21st. The first day of winter.
And
yes.
It is,
Yes.
in fact,
Yes.
the 1 year anniversary of the Underworld!
Holy shit. That's right! This time last year, we were all verschnicketed together, waiting for the world to end. Because I didn't.
You drank all that champagne and pissed it away for nothing.
Shit. Hey, if I didn't know it was really going to be the end of the world, I would have scored a big bag of weed and we'd all be baked. Be that as it may, sitting across from me, as always, is my friend, brother, and partner in all things mischievous, the founder of Braveheart Radio, Mr. Darrell Simmons.
Yeah!
You can't do it when I'm grinning. You can't do it anyway. Why am I even trying? I'll wait. That's something else, another New Year's resolution. I will an ear-piercing, window-shattering whistle. If I have to throw a brick at the damn thing. I don't... Exactly! You know exactly what that's the visual I had in my head. Fucking... Throw a rock through the window. Get out of my head, John. To my left. as one might expect, is corporate political officer, my friend, brother, and the computer tech guru here at Braveheart Radio, Patriot John, Mr. John.
Hi, hello. How are you?
The seal of approval. There it is. Always got to get the last word in.
Wouldn't be a seal of approval. if it wasn't for that.
Exactly. There we go. Easy, dude. You kidding me?
I'm not the one
You're
that...
giving me the hairy eyeball. You have no idea. You have no
I
idea.
don't want no idea.
Well, then don't you look at me in that tone of voice. Anyhow. Yeah, this is the last show of the year, folks. We are going to take a brief break to decompress, get the hell away from the politics for a little while. Maybe go out and gut shoot Bambi. I don't know. Do something.
Shoot things and break and blow things up.
Yeah.
Well, squirrel season comes in the day after Christmas, so
But they're armed. At least our squirrels are.
Yeah.
they'll make it more challenging.
Truly a live fire exercise.
Get them before they get me.
You know, that's actually not bad.
The one fair fight that I will be in my entire life.
Oh. Now I am desperately craving some time away from the politics, but I know I'm not going to. Even when we don't do the show,
It just seems to follow us everywhere we go.
either that or my curiosity won't leave me alone. I'll seek it out.
Yeah, you're like me. You just have to know what's going on in the world.
Yeah.
I have a routine. It just probably very similar to yours.
Mm-hmm.
During the week, I work, obviously, and when I get home, the very first thing I do, after I'm done getting mauled by the dogs, is
Big puppies.
I sit down at my computer and I catch up on all the news. On the weekends, when I'm not working, very first thing I do, get a cup of coffee, go sit down and catch up on the news.
Mm.
Well,
It is a hard habit to break.
Yeah, it is.
mine's a little bit more complex than that. I get up, fix a cup of coffee, turn on the computer, clear the emails from over the night, check to see what's going on in the world out there, see who I'm cussing and swearing at first, okay? And making my list and checking it twice to find out who should be at the top and that. So it changes on a daily basis.
Mine's pretty constant, actually.
Then-
Same assholes I hated yesterday, I still hate today.
Well, yeah, mine, but it only gets bigger.
Well, yeah.
So
How's
then-
that saying go? Every day of my life, I'm forced to add another name to the list of people who can just kiss my ass.
Yeah, then after a couple hours of that, then I'll go down to the shop and maybe have another cup of coffee and some toast and go down to the shop and putz around doing whatever it is I'm doing.
So you're describing your whole day. We're just talking about when we get home.
And,
Or,
well, I'm home
Yeah, he is home. All day.
all day.
It's a day-long thing for you.
Then I get on at about 5 o'clock and another 2 hours of computer work.
We need to be the life.
Yes, exactly.
One of us say we can share on alternate weekends.
Yeah. Now people...
We don't each need one of us because we're not going to use a whole life individually. No, we can get one life and just share it on alternate weekends. And that would be probably sufficient.
Sure.
I would think.
Yeah. Just make sure I get mine when I have my daughter. That's all I ask.
That's not hard. That's not hard. We can do that. I'll let you know.
Just let me have the half hour during your...
Of course, anymore, I don't have to necessarily take my daughter anywhere, go anywhere with my daughter. She wants to, every time she comes over, she wants to learn about guns. I can stay home and do that.
This is true.
She's not old enough to actually shoot yet, so we don't have to go anywhere.
Oh, yes, she is.
No,
Started with a 22. She is.
no, not yet. No, it depends on the individual child,
Well, indeed.
and my daughter is not ready yet.
Okay. Okay, I see where you're going with that. I can see where you're going with that. When I was talking to John earlier today, we were discussing a few things that he was all wound up about, and I really could not work up any enthusiasm whatsoever. And I'm still dealing with a serious case of the fuckers. It's just... There's a few exceptions, and even that I'm doing, you know, as I showed everybody before. Watch me, dirty feet. I'm doing the whole supporting the Duck Dynasty, and Phil for president. There's several aspects to that story. I don't know. It's been talked to death, but we're still going to throw our 2 cents into it.
Of course. I think our listeners expect that.
More than likely, because it is there are several different facets to this. It's all over the 3% blog sites. It's not a surprise that it's happening at this time of the year. I think that well, we'll get into the details of that here in a little bit, because the person I think A&E really, somebody did not advise them properly.
They stepped in it big time.
Oh yeah, they're into it up to their necks. To do what they've done for the reasons they have stated at this time of the year, you people really don't understand your audience.
You know, I didn't really make a connection to the time of the year, but now that you bring it up,
Oh yeah.
yeah, you're right.
Yeah. I don't believe it's a coincidence, but I also think if it is a coincidence, no, I'm going to set that aside, because I really don't believe in that anymore. I stopped believing in coincidence a long time
It's
ago.
it's like luck. There's no such thing as luck. There are no coincidences either.
I still have a tendency to believe in luck from time to time. It's a situational thing, but we'll talk about that a little bit. Opening rants. Darryl, anything in particular this week?
Nothing in particular, because I just find it's a real strange week. The biggest thing that not bugging me, but it's the headline is the Duck Dynasty thing.
Sure.
And everybody's talking about it. And people forget one thing: whether you agree with the guy or not, okay?
Mm-hmm.
He has the right to freedom of speech,
Supposedly.
guaranteed by the First Amendment.
That's if you believe in that little document known as the Constitution.
Okay, so, as far as I'm concerned, whether you agree with the guy or not, he has the right to speak his mind.
And you have the right to not watch.
That's exactly it. Turn it off, or
if you
tough shitski.
Well, kind of like what we say here. We don't censor ourselves here. Don't like it, don't listen. Buenos tacos, hasta lasagna, toodles.
And the other thing that I find, and this just came to mind, a lot of these shows are pre-recorded a month or two in advance. Okay? So the timing factor was, this was probably done a month ago.
Now, hold on.
And just hitting the
Hold on.
airways now.
Well, this came from an article for the magazine GQ.
Yeah, this was an interview.
Yeah, this was an
article.
interview, and all right, we're already getting off on this topic, so we're going to let this run, apparently. The GQ article, everybody over there's a liberal douche. This was a setup.
Mhm.
And there's some people that are saying, and they've been going after the Robertson family since day one. Now, A&E knew from the very beginning who these people were, what they were all about. They thought it would make an interesting show, thought they could make some cash off of it.
And they sure did.
It has put them on the map. A&E, it's their biggest show. And the Robertsons don't need A&E. A&E needs the Robertsons. To do this is world-class stupid. You knew who these people were. You knew about their faith. It's part and parcel of who they are. And they tried to get them, in the last season, to knock off the prayer at the end of each program. They'd actually sit down and have their evening meal together as a family. Wow, what a concept that is. And pray before their meal. Again, wow, what a concept. Apparently, from what I've been able to gather, the reason they wanted them to stop doing that is because they were afraid it might offend Muslims.
Oh, are you kidding me?
To hell with them.
Hold on.
Wind
Now,
us
I
up,
have-
watch us go.
I have not confirmed that yet, but that is supposedly came from one of the members of the family who was being interviewed after Phil got canned. And they started going over everything that has happened in the interim. Now, it would not surprise me. Once again, I don't think A&E knows who the hell they're dealing with here. Although they did say, no prayer, no God, no show. That was Phil. He told him point
I
blank.
remember that.
A&E caved. They had to. Because they were going to walk right then, contract or no contract, we're out of here. This time around, Phil, I've had a chance to listen to a lot of audio and some video of him since all this started up, and he's one of us, okay? You would get along great with him. He's he's saltier in his language than you are. But as far as attitude about things are concerned, you guys could have grown up together. And
That's where my long-lost brother is.
Could be. And he tells it like it is. He doesn't pull any punches. Now, in his early days, he's even said in the interview, too, he used to be a hellraiser. Sex, drugs, rock and roll. He was a doper. He was hardcore until he hit rock bottom and turned his life around. Gave it over to Christ. And now, the man's preaching it. And he believes it. And he will not back down. So in order to get control of the show, A&E has to get rid of him. So, how do we do this? He's already made us back down once over prayer. We've got to get him in an interview someplace where we can set him up. Gets to do an article in GQ, Gentleman's Quarterly. That's just not a place you expect the bearded Phil to show up. And he agreed to the interview. And I have to believe going in, Phil knew this was an ambush. But he wasn't going to back off. And sure enough, whatever liberal douche did the interview, kept asking him over and over again certain questions about his faith, about his religion, just trying to get that sound bite, that quote that could be used. And got on the subject of homosexuals. And Phil's whole thing is, hate the sin, love the sinner. But he dared to call it a sin.
Yeah,
He dared to call it an abomination, as the Bible says.
and that is very biblical.
Exactly. And all he was doing was quoting the Bible and telling you what, and the things that he equated with that practice. And it's, again, it's biblical. And Phil was paraphrasing several different parts of the Bible. I can't remember the exact ones off the top of my head. I remember reading it earlier. It's not here right now. But, of course, your liberal douche, he's got to latch onto that and just, take it all out of context. Leaving out the whole part, look, this is what I believe. This is what my faith teaches. This is what I'm all about. It's not my place to judge. You'll face judgment on the last day. That's not my place. It is my place to say that I believe what you're doing is a sin, it's disgusting, and it's wrong. And he tried to be reasonable about it, but they're making him out to be this monster.
Well, that's the way the
Sure.
liberal douchebags are.
That's just the way it's going to work. And so this gets blown all out of proportion. Now, the 4th season has already finished filming. It's getting ready to come on the air. And Phil's going to be in all of it. It's the 5th season he's been canned from. They haven't started taping it yet. They are under contract for it. Now, they're trying to figure out just how they're going to play this.
I know what I would do if I was a member of the other brothers and the father.
Well, that's breach of contract. That can be a problem. That can be a problem. A&E has got probably enough cash to hire some serious lawyers, even though the Ducksters, as I call them, are not poor people. They have about $400 million fortune from their
Then go
business.
buy A&E and fire them all.
He was a little bit more than 400 million. Be that as it may. They've had offers. Glenn Beck at the Blaze has offered to bring them over to his television network if they ever want to jump ship. Again, A&E needs the Robertsons more than they need A&E. They could walk away from this and still be just fine.
Well,
And stick to their principles.
there is,
They were hoping that once they get rid of Phil, that they could control the youngsters a little bit easier without the influence of the family patriarch. That's not the way this one works.
this is going,
These kids were raised to be just as tough as their old man.
this could backfire, because now instead of having one alienated duckster, they got 3.
They've pissed off the whole family.
I know, but I mean, and when you try to film, when you got 3 people pissed off at you,
Yeah.
it ain't going to work.
You know what the worst part about this is the sponsors of the show are falling in line and supporting A&E's decision,
Well,
including one of your favorite places, Cracker Barrel.
well, it's not my favorite place no more.
I was really surprised to see that, because Cracker Barrel is about old-time family values and all that other stuff, and here they're supporting A&E support.
I'm
for-
sorry, Cracker Barrel, you just lost your customer.
Yeah, it was amazing to me to see that one. I thought sure they would have come on and
There's
supported.
plenty of other places to go to eat.
Jack on Twitter says you're spot on. He thinks he agrees it was a hit piece, and it's going to backfire.
Well, it's backfiring already. A&E and the gay organization GLAAD has never, ever seen the kind of heat
Yeah.
they're getting from this decision. They have never seen it. They are literally shocked.
Good.
Yeah, I'm glad,
Fry their ass a little bit.
because people in these organizations, of course, they're used to getting a certain amount of grief because of their stands, even though that they are aided and abetted mostly by the media and Hollywood. This is something they have never seen before. The amount, the volume, and the intensity of the heat that's coming down on these people, and a lot of your media pundits are starting to say, it's been a long time coming, but this may be a tipping point. Why they chose this particular issue and this particular group of people, they're not quite certain, but conservative America is locking arms, and they're saying, that's enough. We have fallen back every time you bastards have pushed. Now, we're pushing back.
2 things. One, to finish the comment about what John was saying, that maybe it was because some Islamic group or Muslim group or whatever was objecting to it, or whatever the case. If I'm getting to the right place here. Go back to, if you don't like it, go back to wherever you came from and take your camel with you, okay? And then, the other thing that I saw in the news that was, and it goes in this, is I still haven't figured out whether she's a member of the Indian delegation to the UN and the U.S. consulate in the United States. She was arrested and strip searched
I did hear something
in
about that.
violation of the diplomatic accords.
Sure.
Okay,
Diplomatic
But-
immunity.
but here's the key thing, and I just picked this up from Mark. The Indian Supreme Court handed down a decision reaffirming their laws against homosexuality, practice of homosexuality. Okay? So this is all coming out at the same time as this is going on. And the Indian government has said, okay, we now know who all your homosexual representatives are, and all their homosexual buddies over here in India. Okay, and this may be a detractor from the dynasty, or the dynasty from that point.
I got as you might expect, I have my 2 cents to throw in.
Make it 4 and we'll double it.
I'll see you two and raise you two. Go for it.
this is more about free speech than it is anti-gay or anything else.
See,
And Sandra and I talked about this today for a little bit. We texted back and forth a little bit on it. Everybody on Twitter, all the conservatives on Twitter are absolutely up in arms about this because of not only the he was right in what he said, and he had the right to say it, but my question is, why don't people get this upset when when there are free speech zones in this country?
they've been conditioned.
They're getting all butthurt about a likable TV character getting thrown off the air because of something he said, but they don't care. They don't seem to care about the people that were thrown in jail at political rallies because they dared to speak outside of the free speech zone.
I know the reason for. I have the answer for that. It's easy because people don't know that exists. They don't realize that there are supposed free speech zones that have been set up. They don't pay enough attention. You and I and Daryl and Sandra now and other people like that. Okay, we are the political geeks. We are the ones that are watching this stuff. We are news junkies. All right, we know about this stuff, and it does amaze us that other people don't. But 95% of the population, even the conservative population out there, is more concerned about what their team is doing this week than whether or not these zones are being set up where you're allowed to speak.
And that's
know.
That's where I was going with this.
Yeah, they really don't know about that issue. They don't know. Forget the fact that the whole country is a free speech zone. I'll say whatever the hell I want, anywhere I want. You don't like it? Too fucking bad.
Yeah.
And it doesn't help that the only time you hear about so-called free speech zones is when there's a group protesting that you don't like.
Sure.
All right? It's just like you said, if you let the NAACP march, you got to let the Klan march. If you have Occupy have a rally, you've got to let the Tea Party have a rally. It's the way it's supposed to be. The only time you hear about cordoning off people and only letting them speak in here and calling it a free speech zone, forget the fact that it's everywhere, is only when they've already painted the group that is not in their designated zone to make them look as bad as possible in order to drum up animosity. And the media is so in the bag for the liberal left and that whole agenda. And I don't know, other than what we do here at the station all the time, and when we're out and about talking to other people, you got to bring these subjects up. Otherwise, it's not going to get anywhere because your average person does not have the energy at the end of the day to give a flying fuck. At the end of the day, all they want to do is sit down to their dinner, crack a cold beer or something, watch the sports, check the local news, and just basically skimming over that, and go to bed and get ready to do it again the next day. They really don't give a shit about the rest of it, because that's above their pay grade, and they don't care. And it's easier when you don't care.
Yep, sure is.
Remember what I told you about taking the red pill?
Yeah, I know. And I agree completely. It is about free speech.
That's part.
Everybody.
This basically shits on the whole First Amendment.
Well, everybody knows, or I should say, everybody has their own opinion about gay and lesbian and all of that. Most people know mine, and a few know why.
Indeed, brother, indeed.
But that's not what this is about. It's being made that. It's being turned into that. But it's about freedom of speech.
The loudest...
And freedom of religion. But when that religion is Christianity, we got to put the kibosh to that.
Well, see, that's just it, and that's something else. That's one of the things I was going to get into later on during the show, but we've just tackling it now.
Do I get my rant sometime today?
Eventually. You'll get mine here sometime probably in the next 2 or 3 weeks. But, you got muddy damn feet.
Well, he's got a muddy damn yard.
And I'm wearing black pants, which is fucking stupid.
Well, if it hadn't a saw, there would be no problem, because that will eat the snow.
Global warming. Yeah. Anyhow, don't look at me like that, man. I just got the hairy eyeball. This is an attack on the First Amendment all the way around. Freedom of religion, freedom of speech. I'm not so much sure that it is an attack on freedom of religion. It's freedom of a particular religion.
Yeah,
because they
Christianity.
seem to bend over backwards for everybody else. Remember, like I said earlier, when we were before the show started, they were asked to not pray because it might affect Muslims. Everybody wants to bend over backwards to make sure that that's
Say a prayer and eat some damn bacon, for crying out loud.
I haven't had bacon in a long time. You had to bring that up.
And just remind me, I wonder what camel jerky tastes like.
Camel milk is supposed to be very good. I don't know about camel jerky.
Watery?
Don't know.
Well, no, because you dry it and take the water out.
You missed the joke, girl.
Yeah, I know water.
Camels have that hump because of...
Oh, day! Never mind, sorry. What day is it? Anyhow.
It ain't hump day.
Well, it was hump day a few days ago. Be that as it may. We haven't seen the last of this. There's a lot more to talk about it. It's not really all that surprising, although I am surprised at how people are actually starting to dig their feet in.
Well, it's not...
It's good to see.
It is good to see, but remember, it's not about a favorite TV character.
No, well, in the first place, these aren't TV characters.
But
They are no different from what you see filmed
right.
than they are in real life.
But that's extraneous to the point. The point is that this is not about this person that is so well liked for good reason. It's about the freedom to say what's on your
I don't
mind.
think so. In the larger aspect, possibly.
That's
But
what I'm getting at.
Well, maybe so, but the majority of the people who are bitching it right now haven't got to that point yet. They don't care about that point yet. Basically, you just kick grandma in the ass. You just shit on a Girl Scout. This is basically the reaction you're getting. This is a person that most of the people who watch this show consider a member of the family because they know somebody in their family that's exactly like them. They're reacting on, you just messed with one of my family. That's how dialed in this is. It hasn't gone to the greater issues yet. The only people who are talking about the bigger issues are us, the political geeks. We're out here talking about it. It is going to become a bigger issue as it starts to gain more momentum. But right now, all the outrage and everything is still about, what did you do to my cousin, brother, friend, whatever? What the hell do you people think you're doing? That's the reaction level that we're getting right now. The rest of that will fall in time, and hopefully it'll become larger and snowball instead of shrink and get maybe a little more concentrated.
Hopefully it won't be another Benghazi that just disappears.
And the only ones who are talking about Benghazi now are you political geeks.
No.
Us. And fellow travelers.
I was just going to say that we have said this before. You never know what's going to trip somebody's trigger.
Exactly right.
To make them think and start to wake up as to what's going on. Okay? You never know. In this particular case, this particular story hit an accord with a lot of people.
The time of the year that they did it, which was breathtakingly stupid. First of all, you already have most of the Christian faith in this country in full defensive mode because their holiday has been hijacked. And this time of the year, you do have a lot of people in complete defensive mode. Then you get this. Another attack on their faith. At this time of the year, A&E,
Bad move, dude.
wow, tactically stupid.
You know-
Tactically stupid.
I read an email once, that maybe fits this situation in a thing, with all these people out there attacking Christianity and Christianity's values. What do you say that all you people out there that don't like Christianity go to work on Christmas Day? Easter, the Monday after Easter, Good Friday, go to work. Don't take a paycheck, but go to work
I love
and get paid for it.
I love asking an atheist why they celebrate Christmas. I love it.
It's just a paid holiday for them. Okay, it's no longer a paid holiday for you.
You don't believe in the reason behind the day, so you don't get the day off. Well, now, wait a minute. No, bullshit. I'm sorry. If you're going to sit there and tell me that I can't say Merry Christmas because it offends you by I'm pushing my religion down your throat, then you go to work on Christmas Day because it doesn't have any meaning for you.
Exactly.
I love that. That's beautiful.
Exactly. The same way with
And it's gonna
Easter
happen.
and Good Friday.
Now, I've actually gotten into a couple of interesting discussions recently with Christians who do not celebrate Christmas. And you know the type, because they say it's not biblical. And it isn't. It's not supposed to. It's not something that was ever celebrated. The first Christians did not celebrate Christmas, obviously. They also didn't celebrate Easter. They celebrated Passover. If you really want to get right down to it, the early Christians. But I'll save that particular aspect of it for when we get closer to the Easter season. But the way I've looked at it recently, this time of the year has been set aside for believers in Christ to celebrate His birth, whether it's biblical or not. Did it come from a pagan holiday? Probably. Was it morphed into something real Christian? Yeah, probably so. But this is the time of the year, and we've got something called the holiday season now. And that is a commercial construct. What do we got?
Wade,
Yeah.
just texted. Being that it's a text, he didn't include a link. We'll have to look into this. But glad that faggot group
Yes.
calls for Phil Robertson to be re-educated. Good one, Wade. Thank you, brother.
Re-education camps. There you go.
Well,
Folks,
the government's got 180 of them around here somewhere. So.
yeah, certainly. Once again, your militant homosexual agenda, and they demand that something be done about this person who dares to call us. Guess what? You're maybe at the most 5% of the population. Okay, another squirrel. How is it that we are bending over for 5%? I'm sorry, man, it was there. For 5% of the population. Why is this happening? And why are those who do not agree following along? Now, have we become so pussified as a nation that we will not stand up for ourselves anymore?
Yep.
Yes,
Mhm.
absolutely. We've documented it here repeatedly.
Wade says that's on InfoWars. Infowars.com, check it out.
All right. Once again, Alex Jones, I take it with a grain of salt anymore. He has screwed the pooch a few too many times for my taste, but he still does some decent work. Use your gift of discernment, all right, when you go and check out this stuff, and don't just take what he says there. and run with it all over the place. Vet the stuff.
Don't even do that with us.
Indeed, don't take what we say as gospel, but don't dismiss it either. Because something triggered it for us. Go check it out for yourself.
Somewhere-
Do the hard work!
Somewhere along the line, there's truth in all stories.
Yeah.
Just like
Every
rumors.
rumor, every conspiracy theory at its core has a series of events that led us to a certain conclusion.
There is a particle of truth in everything.
Sure. Find what that is and move out from there. We have a better track record than most. We do. What are you doing?
I was looking at our track record.
Knock it off. That ain't gonna get it, bro. Well, wait a minute. 9mm, 50 caliber.
Yeah, but you have 15, he's got 1.
But that doesn't...
My 9mm hole is gonna slow him down. 150 caliber blast is gonna take my fucking head off.
And who says it's a 150 caliber slug and not maybe 10 or 12 double-aught buck?
He'd do
You
that.
fucked, run!
He'd do it too. I know him. He's just that kind of an asshole.
Hometown values.
I'm going to kill you good. Anyhow.
And only once, because I don't want to waste the ammo.
One shot, 8 kills.
Hey, they shut down the last smelting plant in the U.S. Dig them back out of his body and reuse
I don't
them.
have to. I got plenty of lead out in the backyard. 20 years worth. Probably 50 rounds a day.
EPA would shit a brick. Anyhow. All right, we managed to lighten the mood up a little bit. That's a good thing. Before the squirrel came in, I was going to make another point. Do you remember where the hell it was?
Fuck no.
I didn't think so.
It was a collective squirrel.
Your track record broken.
Cluster squirrel?
Yeah.
That's not bad.
I like that one. We'll have to write that one down.
Kudos.
Oh,
It's
God.
Sandra's fault.
She-
Because we incorporate squirrels into everything now. It's Sandra's fault.
Yeah, she ain't here, so we'll blame it on her. You do realize, though, that she doesn't forget anything?
No.
And we...
No, she does not.
I can still run faster scared than she can, man. Anyway, there's a lot here to talk about. I just don't know how much I really want to get into it here, because
I think we've hit all the important stuff.
The thing now is...
I'm not sure. It seems to me there's something I'm missing here.
Well, it may not have hit all the important stuff, but the thing now is to sit back and see what comes of this after the smoke is cleared.
And see if
See what's...
conservative America can maintain enough outrage, or if they become just...
Are they going to stand their ground or they're going to back off again?
Or they could just play, screw it, we don't care anymore. We're just waiting for you guys to come kicking our doors so we can start shooting. Yeah, hell yeah.
I agree 100%!
All right, Sparky.
I really wish there would have been a powder charge with that bitch. Even in here, that would have been so much fun.
Well, I could flash the paint.
So why the hell didn't you?
So I didn't want to dirty the gun,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
especially when it's as wet as it out there.
It's this time of the year has always been a bit of a pain in the ass to me, anyway.
Yeah, me too.
I know I'm supposed, and I actually did go back and listen to last year's show, and nothing has changed.
Well, see,
Nothing.
for me, living alone for a good portion of my adult life,
Yeah.
Christmas is, I mean, I understand and I still practice the meaning of what it is, but it's just another day.
which is why I won't be home for Christmas. Because it falls in the middle of the week, I will be spending Christmas and New Year's at the truck stop in Perrysburg, Ohio. There's no sense in me coming home for one day and then heading back out when I'm just, it's middle of the week.
Yeah, I have a family now, and, Christmas is, I never put up a tree until Bobby and I got together. Honestly.
I've already told you about the fiber optic one. It's about this high sitting in the living room.
Yeah,
I take the hair dryer, blow the dust off of it, and plug it in.
Well, the wife and I haven't put a tree, well, we did put a tree up, but we've been spending, since I've been out of the POW camp, we've been spending most of our Christmases up in the mountains.
At the retreat.
At the retreat.
Which ain't a bad deal.
And I find myself lacking enthusiasm for Christmas, even though it should be, because I have a family.
Right.
But I guess it's because of the seriousness of the situation that we're in.
It wears you down.
I just can't find the enthusiasm.
Well,
I still, even though I went out and had lots of luck hunting this year as far as deer go, I still want to kill something. Okay?
Lexi is going to be 6 years old in January.
Mm-hmm.
Last time she was with me, she's talking about how many days until Christmas, and I can't wait, to get my gifts. And I pulled her aside and I said, honey, Christmas is great for gifts, and I know what it means to a kid, but here's what it really means. And she didn't like that very much. She's 5.
Right.
Okay, Christmas is about toys.
Right.
But I'm trying to plant the seed now.
At 5, you're really not going to get it. By the time she's 7, she might start to feel it a little bit.
Yeah.
But the thing of it is, though, you don't totally destroy the child's idea.
No, I
And
won't.
here's something else. And this is another article. I wish it would have printed up, but I ran out of time. I couldn't remember where I found it. A list, Christmas letters to Santa, that went. Recently, they came up with one that's still in pretty good shape. That went back to 1915, and they started comparing the ones that the post office had archived, because after about a year, the post office. If you've got kids in the room, get them the hell out of here now, okay? The post office gets rid of them, all right? But there are certain ones that they hold on to. And it has shown the level of self-centeredness and greed in our kids from that time until now. Because a letter from 15 asked for like a couple pieces of fruit and maybe a handful of nuts and simple things like that, maybe a new pair of socks. And then 10, 15 years later, a little bit more, and a letter, get something for my family, bring something for them. A single pencil, and some paints, and things like that. Then you go 10 to 15 years later, and you start to see cap pistols and a bag full of plastic soldiers and this and that and a fort so I can play and those cowboys and Indians or military men. And then you move up another 10 to 15 years and you start seeing kids asking for things by brand name, and it shows the influence of advertising on the kids. Well, that's a few years later, but I'm talking about things like specific brands of specific types of dolls, like you were saying, but Lincoln Logs and certain things like that. They knew the brand name, the company that manufactured them. And then you come up and you start getting into the electronics, and it's all about greed. I want more and bigger, and it just shows we are not wrong in saying our kids have been ruined in this society because we have become so materialistic and kinder-centric, which is the word I use. We are, everything is for the children. Children can do no wrong. Yes, they can, warm their ass. Anything you do is absolutely fine. Don't care if it's but wrong, you're still going to get your participation trophy.
Mm.
And, you know, we spoiled them into believing, another squirrel but related, that 16-year-old snot-nosed punk kid that killed those people for driving drunk. And the judge gave him 10 months probation for killing 4 people because of the term he coined, affluenza. Because his parents were so damn rich, this kid has never had to understand that what he does has consequences and that he's wrong. And so because his parents are so wealthy, he can't be held responsible for his actions because he's never been told that he has any responsibilities. Yeah, that's what the judge got him. The kid should have done time in jail. Instead, he got 10 months probation.
He should have been executed 4 times.
Well, be that as it may. That's not what he should have got at all. But he's 16. You don't execute kids, you know, for vehicular homicide. If the kid had a firearm and they said he didn't know right from wrong because his parents had so much money that he was never taught that consequences come from your actions. And so they basically blamed the parents for being wealthy. The kid got off due to, and again, he coined it, the female judge, excuse me, affluenza. Once again, you can see where our kids get a hold of the children and you can rule everything. And this is how they're doing it. I don't have time for the next article. It's another one that I wanted to print up, but I didn't have enough time. The TSA has put out a cartoon video on how to get kids used to unconstitutional checkpoints.
Yeah, how to get used to being molested.
Yeah, at the TSA agent. Oh, thank you for keeping us safe, TSA. And it's a cartoon. Exactly. No, put it down.
No.
There you go. All right, folks.
Still didn't get my
Well, we're going to do the rant here in a little bit. I still got to tell you how shitty my week went. Remember, I'm broke.
Yeah, that's true.
I got to put that one out as a warning. So we're going to take a little bit of a break here. More mirth and frivolity will ensue.
Merry Christmas!
Happy New Blues Year!
Hey, I'm not going to get I'm going to be on the road. I can't drink at all. They don't have truckers' bars anymore.
You come up between.
They used to.
Did they really?
You come up between Christmas and New Year's when you're off on Saturday and Sunday, and we'll fix you up.
Okay, let me see if I can find. Yeah, we're gonna leave with this one, then we'll come back here in a little bit. You're listening to Pennsylvania American Patriot Radio, Braveheart, 88.7 FM. We'll be right back. This is the one I want to ship. Damn, that's not the one I wanted. I missed. I was one off. Yeah. That shouldn't be too long, I don't think. Let's bring this up. It'll work. It'll work. Alright. Let's see. Let's see. We're 9 mix yet. I'm surprised I don't have the disclaimer on my stick. Exactly.
Precisely.
Let's see. That one.
Man, beer's getting expensive.
How so?
Your case cost me $24.15 today.
You need to pick cheaper beer.
I don't compromise.
Yes, you do. You drink Coors Light.
Oh, fight me.
You knew I had to do that, man. I don't care. We're gonna do this a little bit.
What do you mean, jewelry lord?
I like this.
Yeah. And the copyright on this expired a long time ago, piss off.
I'm afraid you're gonna get wet.
Yeah.
You ain't sugar, you ain't.
I'm shit, I float away.
I heard an interesting one. You know, food is only feces in waiting.
Okay,
You couldn't hear that? Okay. Food is only feces in waiting.
knock it off! You've been disgusting all evening, Mac.
Disgusting's good.
Oh, man. All right, we got to get John his rant. I got to do my rant. Then we got to get some news in. Trying to figure out where we want to go here. Sheriff's refusal to enforce the law on gun control. I like that one. In Colorado.
Pants put between chewing gum.
You have no idea how tempted I am. I really wish I would have brought my pipe.
We still got a lighter down here.
I'm gonna burn one, I don't know about you, Mike.
Well, if he's gonna fire up a pipe, I will partake with you. That will be good.
Alright, I'm gonna take my glasses off because the fuckers are wet. That's the only problem with wearing glasses.
It's raining outside, Goofus.
You know, the hell of it is.
Really?
Besides that,
I tasted that one shit.
I get less wet standing out in the rain than I do under the overhang because all the fucking water's running down.
You got no blame with yourself.
I gotta piss, what do you want? It's natural. Opening says me.
You have become addicted to these, haven't you?
Yeah. But I can never smoke it.
Have you heard this one before? Sounds good stuff.
Oh, before you fire that up, you gotta have one of the Madison Seed cookies.
Just so you hear it. And just so Google doesn't fuck with us. It's coming down pretty hard out there.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, the heaviest part's supposed to hit tonight.
Nice. You have the wrist?
No, I don't know where it is.
Let's hear another. There's. Good blame you for that. I call it the wrist now. Well, what were you saying about this?
So before you fire them up, you ought to try those Anderson Seed cookies.
Hey, man, pass that over.
You'll be the ones, I don't know which gave you, the yellow frosting or green frosting.
Are you keeping track of?
We're good.
That's Anderson Seed. That was orange truffles. No, that's Anderson Seed.
Getting ready to go out here and look. Yeah, the orange, I can see the orange bits in the other one.
John says he's never had either one.
So we're getting ready back to July, so. And that's it. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen.
Hi.
You're listening to the
Merry
second
Christmas.
hour. Pennsylvania American Patriot Radio for Rainheart. 88.7 FM in Ladysville, Pennsylvania. Where it's raining like a bitch outside, and it's probably about 45 degrees, I'm guessing.
Looking.
Okay.
1 second. 47.
That was close.
It's about bloody time.
Well, wrong time of the year for that. Although it is the first day of Christmas, yes.
Yeah! First day of Christmas.
First day of global
Did you
warming.
know that the 12 days of Christmas were not the ones leading up to?
There we
12
are.
days after.
Exactly.
Yep.
Nobody seems to know that. So it's not the 12 shopping days before Christmas, bitch. It's 12 days after. But I'm not bitter. Anyway. When we last left our heroes, John was complaining that he hadn't gotten his rant in yet. Because we kind of got hijacked off of on the Ducksters.
Well, it's something we needed to talk about.
Well, we were going to anyhow, we just got it out of our system in the first hour.
Yep.
So, Johan, have at it.
Got my truck back! Yes!
So the Sub is no more.
It's still sitting there at my house. I've got to get some of my stuff out of it and send it back to my stepdad.
Mm-hmm.
I am not happy
Why?
what I had to do to get my truck back.
It cost you a bit.
$3,300.
That was basically a new engine.
Well, new to the truck, it's an old engine. It was 75,000 miles. A crate engine would have cost me about $6,000. That was before putting it in.
You can buy a whole damn truck for that. Fuck it.
But I got my truck back, and now obviously I'm going to be keeping my truck.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to get rid of it. Anything less, I would have. But when the mechanic that I went to showed me what was in the oil pan, that motor was toast. There were chunks of aluminum
Whose
in my oil pan.
fault?
Previous owner.
Okay.
Previous owner did some things that neither me or the mechanic can even hazard a guess at. Fathom. Yeah.
Good word.
But that, it was just a matter of time.
Christmas cookies and beer. My new favorite breakfast.
Can I have the brisk, please? Yeah, it was just a matter of time. Number two,
Yeah.
the folks watching on the Squirrel Camp can see I finally got some new spectacles. I can see! Holy shit! What a concept!
Are you sure it was worth it? Now you can see all the evil crap that you've been missing up to this point.
Well, yeah, but I've got you two to tell me all about it, so I haven't been missing anything. To the tune of $332, but that was after a pretty steep discount. All total, before the discount, I was approaching $500.
Just the one pair?
Just one pair.
Okay.
But I'm happy. I finally got and of all places, Walmart
Yeah.
told me about a properly fit frame,
Uh-huh.
which is why the two previous pair of glasses I had never worked for me, because the frames didn't fit right. The bridge of my nose, where the pads are supposed to sit, is very, very fat.
Wow.
And the girls at Walmart swore up and down that my nose has had to have been broken at least a dozen times. Never once. They did not have anything that would properly fit me.
Really?
Nothing.
You should have gone over to the Klingon section.
Well, we did. We did. Finally, one of them called across the street to Pearl Vision.
Okay.
And other vision places like Pearl and that, they have resources that Walmart does not have, meaning they can order in special parts, longer parts, bigger
Sure.
part, whatever. So the good people at Walmart after educating me on the proper fit of glasses, which another national chain, which I got my first glasses from, which would be Vision Works.
Not familiar with them, but that's fine.
Okay. They failed, and a privately practicing eye doctor failed to tell me about the proper way to have glasses fit.
Mhm.
Walmart, of all places, but they called over to Pearl Vision and asked if they could help me out, and they said yeah, and they said, well, he'll be coming over. I'd already gotten and paid for my exam.
Right.
Okay, and they sent me over. So I go over there and I'm looking around, find a pair of frames I like. Then I see the price tag, $200. Hand them back to
Indeed.
the guy, and then he says they come with a 30% discount. Well, let me see them again. You know, they come with clip-on shades.
Gotcha.
Polarized, I mean, the anti-glare, the whole 9 yards. I paid $140 for the frames.
Okay.
My lenses were $275
Multi-focus vision, yeah.
with a 30% discount. I didn't do the math. Total bill out the door was $332 and some change.
Oh, excuse me.
So now I now have a properly fit pair of glasses. And number 3, leave your gun on the desk. I am on Facebook.
You have a bigger problem with that than I do, simply because I don't know why you don't like Facebook.
I am there as myself, not as part of the radio show.
Okay.
I'm there, and I've already told several friends this on Facebook. I'm not here to socialize. I'm here to gather intel for the coming North American Liberty Games.
Interesting. Do you think you can do that through Facebook?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I can.
I will say no more. We'll talk.
We'll talk.
Need shall talk.
But yeah, I took the plunge. I'm on Facebook. I'm not as active as most people are. I swear to God, some people live on Facebook.
Some people live on Twitter. I can check that day or night, and there are certain people that are always on there. Yep.
But yeah, I am on there for the sole purpose of gathering intel. I am also, I have explored Google's social network, known as Google+.
I've heard about that, and I really didn't want to get into it.
There are several patriot groups on there that I'm now a member of.
You're becoming a regular groupie.
It's getting much better. You've become very comfortable with the cigar.
I have.
I must say.
But it's all for the purpose of networking with like-minded people and gathering intel, honestly.
It's a smart move. To an extent, we're so far out in the open right now. It's really more exposure is not going to make that much of a difference.
Exactly.
Exactly. And being too clandestine means you can be disappeared, and
Yeah.
no one will ever know what happened to you.
Exactly.
So.
Exactly. My father, whom I've recently started talking to again, is also on Facebook. I'm slowly working on educating him. The first myth I had to dispel
Right.
was that I'm of the type that wants to overthrow the government. Wrong.
That has been a myth that has been thrown at the militias
Yeah.
and patriot groups for as long as I've been in.
I told
Why would
him,
you want to overthrow them? Overthrow? No. We want to keep our government honest.
sorry, Sandra, I'll get to that. I'm sorry.
Squirrel?
Well, she said,
The squirrel, yes.
Yeah, the squirrel.
The squirrel.
I'm disappointed you didn't friend request me on Facebook. What the hell?
Oh, you're in the doghouse.
Oh, you
big
stepped
dog.
in it now,
Oh,
John.
dude.
All the way up to your eyebrows.
But,
Sucks to be you.
he sent me a rather lengthy email about stuff that, that's going on that basically was the differences between me and him on our worldviews. And what really shocked me, only because, I know the way my father leans politically,
Indeed.
but the language he used, quote, the asshole in the White House, unquote, surprised me.
Well, his own people are disappointed in him.
Yeah. Well, he is not a fan of Obama by any means.
That's good.
Okay. He is, however, a fan of Chris Christie and Marco Rubio. I'm working on that. Anyway,
I got to admit, when Christie first started getting national notoriety for standing up to the unions, I thought, okay, this guy, and for his language as well, I thought, okay, maybe. I have since determined.
you know what his latest? You know what his latest thing was?
Yeah.
He signed a bill
Yeah.
that gives illegals in-state tuition at college.
Yep. He has become a total and
You
complete.
fat fucking bastard cunt turd.
He's nothing more than another Arlen Sphincter. So, I have no use.
Anyway,
Squirrel.
yeah. He said, however, something to the effect of, however, my view on the overthrow of government and blah, blah, blah. And I sent him an email correcting him. I said, first, me and my kind, and make no mistake, there are millions of us,
Yes, indeed.
do not wish to overthrow the government. We wish to return to constitutional government and the rule of law. And I said, right-wing extremists, in quotes, have been labeled as such and want to overthrow the government by the mainstream media that believes if you tell a lie enough times, it becomes truth.
Unfortunately, there's enough people out there that have drank the Kool-Aid. They have reason to believe that it'll work.
So, the other thing is the other thing that I set him straight on is a personal thing that I won't get into on the radio. But I'm working on it. My father, he's a rhino. He is a rhino. Whether I can turn him around before he leaves this earth is up to God to decide.
Pretty much.
I don't really care, to be quite honest, because I don't care to turn anybody around at this point.
Open that just a little
Yeah.
more.
I'm not here to turn anybody
Oh,
around.
no. We have a woolly bear.
A woolly bear.
A woolly bear!
All right.
And he's right. Hard start, mild middle, hard end. So far, he's right. Hard start.
Yeah. I'm not sure if we're into the,
No, because it's too short of a time to be in the middle of
But
bitch! Wait a minute. That's as far as it's going to go.
I
There's
do not-
ammo boxes in the way.
it is not my goal to wake anybody up at this point. This is my goal. Doing this and other things is to inform the already awake as to what's going on.
Right. Well, yes and no. There are still those out there that suspect, but don't have all the intel. It's kind of like when Mark Kornke came to town back in '95.
Yeah.
I had bits and pieces. Mark filled in the pieces that were missing. And I've been in the Patriot movement ever since. There are millions of those out there that are in the same position I am. They've got a little more information now than I had at the time. All you got to do is read the news. But anytime you can help to fill in the blanks for somebody who's questing for the information, that's a good thing. You help to finish waking them up. So,
But that's all well and good. I'm not gonna pop a Verson's cherry. That's not my goal.
we don't have the time for that.
No, we don't. We absolutely do not.
Do not take an unbeliever and try to convert them. It's not worth the time. It's not worth the task. It's not worth the time. Oh, excuse you.
All you're doing is wasting valuable air.
Exactly. Anything else there, John?
No.
That's pretty much it?
That's pretty
All
much
right.
it.
My week sucked balls. Little notes. Most people have probably heard a little bit by now about Target and something upwards of 40 million accounts being hacked into. Well, I don't know if I'm part of that or not, because I've never been to a Target store in my life, but my bank account got hacked beginning of this week. And they nailed me for about $4,000.
Ouch.
Yeah. I didn't have that much in the bank, but that's how far the account got before they stopped them. Now, I've almost got it narrowed down to exactly how it probably happened, because I have never made any financial transactions using my smartphone before. I've always got what few online things I've done have been from my home computer, secure sites. I've got my antivirus and all the other little alarms set up to go off. My smartphone doesn't have a damn thing. Now, if you've listened to so-called right-wing talk radio, you might have heard from time to time a college, Hillsdale College. It's in Michigan. They offer an Economics 101 course, free. 10 video seminars, and all you have to do is register for it. They teach Austrian school economics, what we're supposed to be doing here. Not the Keynesian theory that Obama and his ilk, the ones they study. Now, at the end of once you register, at the end of the page there's a place where you can donate to the college if you want. I threw him a $50 donation using my debit card over the phone. I had to enter all my information over the smartphone. Wasn't more than a day later that I got racked. And, interestingly enough, this is where I really didn't get it, because I always thought that if you're going to hijack somebody's identity, if you're going to get a hold of their information, there should be some way you can lay hands physically on the stuff that you're buying. That's not what happened here. The first charge that was out of the ordinary went to iTunes for about $15. Probably an album. Something like that. Now for me, I get my music the old-fashioned way. I steal it off the internet. Peer-to-peer. Kick ass. The rest of it, 17 charges in a row, were at a website called half.com. It's a sister site from eBay. And it's primarily set up to sell used textbooks. It had to be the college. Somebody at the college had to have gotten hold of it. And 17 in a row. Now, it was caught within 12 hours. My card was shut off. The merchandise was never shipped. I'm actually starting to get some money kicked back into my account from them crediting the thing. I haven't even had. All right. Adventures in trying to get customer service from an online. Okay. I don't use it. I don't even have to go any further. Daryl knows exactly what the hell I'm dealing with here. All right. Half.com has no humans. I must have worked for about an hour trying to find a phone number so I could call somebody. It's all online, all prompts. If you have a question about this, click here. If you have a question about that, click here. If your question concerns this, click here. They have no humans! But their parent company is eBay, one of the biggest online douchebags on the planet. So, I go over to eBay, and they got a phone number. Wow, what a concept.
Whoa.
Yeah, no
Jeez.
shit. So, I go over to eBay, and, hold on.
Talk about taking a step backwards in technology. A real live phone number? Holy smokes.
Well, after going through a lot of their telephone prompts for about 15 minutes, I was finally able to get through to a human. Yeah, I know. Wow.
Did they speak English? Or
Hold on. Hold on, I am getting to that. Don't get ahead of me, fucker.
Oh, I just wanted to
I
make
got
sure we're on the same
it.
page.
Don't get ahead of me, fucker.
Obviously, that's part of the story. Let
It
us know.
most certainly is. I don't even remember what department it was, but it wasn't the department I was looking for. It was just a human. And I was hoping that maybe the human would be able to redirect me to where I had to go.
To another human.
Hopefully. Hopefully. Oh, that's what I was hoping. But, very nice young girl. English was not her first language. It was not overseas, however. I'm firmly convinced from her accent that at home she speaks Spanish. So I'm thinking probably Southern Cal, Arizona, Texas, New Mexico, someplace like that. That's where the call center is located. And you can definitely tell the difference from a lot of these customer service people, when they're talking to you, they read from a script. Yeah, just to get the air circulating, because it's dead in here right now. That's going to help a lot. Hey, you can see us now.
Yeah,
Hey, there we are. All right.
Yeah, that fan really blows.
Well, nah. Hey, Mikey, don't do that. Okay, I won't.
Don't go there.
No. Now, most of these call places, they have a script that they work off of, just to make sure that they don't screw up and they get all the information necessary. Well, this wasn't her department. I can't remember what department she was working for, but it wasn't what I needed. So she said, I'm going to put you on hold for 2 minutes. I will be right back. Actually, her accent was kind of cute. But be that as it may. 2 minutes, she came back with the proper script for what I had to deal with. And you can definitely, again, you could tell when she was just talking to me and when she was reading off the script. Things were much more, precision and precise and everything than when we were just talking back and forth. And eBay has an investigation team to handle this particular situation. And let's face it, when a company like eBay gets a bad rating for something, it can really hurt their business because they do everything online.
Sure.
And once it hits the internet, it spreads like wildfire. So I was expecting to get an email back from them. She said 1 to 2 days is an average. We're into the holiday season. This might take a little bit longer, especially after what I've heard about all these accounts that have been hacked over the last few days.
Yeah.
So it could be longer. I could be caught in the mix. But I'm already seeing a credit coming back into my account where I was negative damn near $1,200 by the time they stopped. By yesterday afternoon, I had $750 credited back to my account. So I'm already about a quarter of the way back to where I was before I got hammered. But I am going to have to look into some sort of antivirus or something. I'm thinking about grabbing Avast for my...
That's what I use on my phone.
I never even thought about that because I'm still thinking this is a phone. It's not. It has phone capability, but it is a small handheld computer.
It is a computer that is on the internet 24/7.
It is a pad, if you want to go to the Star Trek reference, basically.
Yeah.
It's very. If it had medical scanning capabilities, it'd be a fucking tricorder.
I feel like I let you down
Why?
because I didn't insist that you do this before.
You probably were under the assumption that I would know this.
Maybe.
Because you deal with people that are a lot more technically advanced than I am. I am a Neanderthal. My knuckles still drag the
Wait,
ground.
but I know this, which is why I should have said, Mike,
There are certain
antivirus.
There are certain assumptions you will go by because it just, in your mind, in your head, you would think it would be common sense. And it probably didn't occur to you in time. So I don't blame anybody for that. I didn't think about it until the girl at my credit union, we got to talking for about a half hour. And we were going through various things. And she sent me, it's going to be almost 2 weeks before I get a new debit card in order to access my account again. She says, anything that still comes through, they will have to go through, but she doesn't really see anything they will have to process. But she does thinks we stopped it so damn quick that she doesn't see anything happening to the money that's already in there. So it is safe to deposit my last 2 paychecks. It should be good. It won't disappear on me. But I won't have access to it for 2 weeks.
Right.
Because me being on the road, my debit card is the only way for me to get a hold of my money. So for the next 2 weeks, I am going to be living off $200 cash advances from my fuel card, which just advances my paycheck a little bit. I've done that before, I'll do it again, but that also means, as far as the station and stuff in here, stocking the humidor, stocking the fridge, buying any more parts, that's going to be on hiatus until I can build up my reserves again and gain access to my money.
That's why I went ahead and put that donation that we got and put some money with it that's for some stuff that I sold today.
Indeed, you didn't mention that in the red.
Well,
Hey, whenever you do business, it's a good thing.
I'm always up to it. Monkey business. But anyway,
The feds know this too.
yeah.
But that was this week. Did the truck take a shit anytime? What do you think?
You talked about your brake problems last week.
Okay, last week was brakes. What happened this week? Because I think I was in the shop at least once this week. Yes. The oil seal on the front differential on the tractor gave loose again. Spraying oil all over the damn place. Actually, it looked worse than it was. Because that differential will hold about 5 gallons of oil. And I've lost maybe like 7 pints. But it's enough to coat the entire ass end of the truck. It really looks bad. This is the 4th time now we've replaced the seal in that thing since I've been driving it. We're not sure what's knocking it apart. This time we went with a different brand seal. And we're hoping that makes a difference. But gear oil stinks.
Yeah.
And there's no, if you
It's also very thick.
you step out and you smell gear oil, it's never a good thing. It's never a good thing. Something is leaking that should not be. It's like, all right, what's going to fall off the truck now? And you're walking around, you see back into the cab is coated. It's fiberglass, but it'll never rust. The undercarriage is undercoated. The front end of the trailer, even though it's aluminum, and now has a anti-oxidation coat. Gorilla Glue. What the hell are you doing with a bottle of Gorilla Glue in your pocket? I don't even want to. Forget it. I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
No.
That shit's evil.
Leave it alone.
That shit's evil. That stuff is worse than super glue.
After you get done
It
with
activates with water. It foams up. And then once you get a seal, you ain't getting it apart, fucker. The material will fail before that glue seal does.
when you're done with your friend, I'll tell you what I was using it for.
All right, we'll talk about that here in just a sec. But let's see. It was warm this week, so I had no issues with frozen lines. Everything worked fine until I had oil all over the damn place. My biggest problem this week was somebody emptied my bank account. That hurt. Kind of a wake-up call. And I think from now on, when I purchase anything online, I'm going to get one of those preloaded cards. Put a couple $100 just when I need to purchase something.
Yep.
And use that. That way, if somebody gets that information, they only get what's on the damn card. They don't get any access to my checking account. Which is the problem with debit cards in the first place. And I know it's got the Visa or MasterCard symbol on there, and you can use them thusly. If somebody does get your information, they have direct access to your checking account and can empty it out just like they did with mine. Unless you have another method, I know a lot of people use PayPal. I really haven't gotten into that because PayPal is anti-gun. I've done that on principle. I may change that. I don't know. And there are some sites out there that don't accept PayPal. But I think the preloaded card to use for online purchases is probably going to be my best bet for ordering the flags, or anytime we need to do something, if we gotta buy more equipment, God, I hope we gotta buy more equipment. Or anything else like that I gotta do online, because I've got an account with Amazon now, that I bought some ebooks, and a few pieces of music that I was looking for specifically that I couldn't pirate online. But I don't do much else financially online. My Verizon account is tied into my debit card. I may have to change that. But my electric bill is tied directly into my checking account. So that shouldn't be affected at all. Got a few things I got to handle here, but folks, if you're using a debit card online, change your plans, especially with what's happened here, because it seems like debit cards are the ones that have been hit the hardest in this latest acting spree.
They're probably the easiest ones to hit.
Okay. That gets us pretty much as far as my rant is concerned. We probably ought to do some news here. Let's see.
While you're making your mind up, I'll tell you what the glue was for.
Do the glue.
My son brought me his muzzleloader. He had a charge left in it from last year. He
Okay.
pulled the bullet, but he didn't get the powder out. And he couldn't get the powder out.
Interesting.
And he brought it out to me to see if I could get the powder out. Because he wants, because he wants to use it for deer season after Christmas. And I was putting a wire brush on the end of the ramrod, and as I was getting ready to stick it in the barrel, got the wire brush in, and I said, maybe I ought to just pull on that just a little bit. When I did, the brass end on the ramrod came off.
Oh, no.
Okay. Well, no big deal. I just hooked the drill up, tightened it down, turned it on, screwed it right back out. Cleaned it out, and put the Gorilla Glue on to glue the tip on, and tomorrow I'll finish the job. But in the meantime, I did get 99% of the powder out, and I filled the barrel full of black powder solvent. And as I was leaving the shop this afternoon, I could see it slowly gaining momentum as it was coming out the flash hole. Instead of being white, it was gray. So by tomorrow morning, it'll be time to go in there and clean it out and fire a couple of rounds to make sure it's burned out good and clean.
So, are you going to be participating in this hunt?
Yeah, mine's already loaded.
Does that surprise me?
Not
Not at all.
I'm going to, what was I going to say? Well, I told him I ought to kick his ass, because not only did he leave the charge in there, but it let the barrel get rusty on the inside.
That's a no-no.
Bright red rust.
Testify. I've
Bright
done it.
red rust is not too bad to deal with. That means it's just getting started. When it was that dry, caked on brown
You're
stuff.
getting much better at that.
So, anyway,
Excellent.
that's what it's for.
All right. Let's get into some news here.
Shall we?
Surprised by this one. I gotta wonder how the story is going to be slanted. This comes to us from the New York Times. It don't get any worse than that, folks. The article.
Just shows you we do not censor.
But I'm gonna be interested to see how they
I
slant the story.
understand. I'll take one, John.
Okay.
Sheriffs refuse to enforce laws on gun control. Greeley, Colorado. Big like Greeley, Colorado. Oh. Oh. Wait. Oh. Oh. We're gonna get the story then. Knock it off! Walkers. Yeah. But Sheriff John Cook of Weld County explains in speeches why he's not enforcing the state's new gun laws. He holds up two 30-round magazines. Two? Ooh, you outlaw, you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Break
One,
both
he
laws.
says, he had before July 1st, when the law banning the possession, sale, or transfer of the large capacity magazines went into effect. The other, he maybe obtained afterwards.
Theoretically.
I'm liking this guy more already. All right, kick ass, bro. Let's see. He shuffles the magazines, which look identical, then challenges the audience to tell the difference.
Yes.
How is a deputy or an officer supposed to know which is which? Look at that. Colorado's package of gun laws, enacted this year after mass shootings in Aurora, Colorado and Newtown, Connecticut, both false flag operations, but we digress, has been hailed as a victory by advocates of gun control. Well, not so much. But if Sheriff Cook and a majority of the other county sheriffs in Colorado offer any indication, let us state that again, because even the New York Times puts out a piece of information here that we need. Sheriff Cook and a majority of the other county sheriffs in Colorado.
I believe that majority is, if I might be wrong, 56 out of 65.
I'm liking my odds. I'm liking my odds here. The new laws, which mandate background checks for private gun transfers, lots of luck with that one, and outlaw magazines over 15 rounds, may prove nearly irrelevant across much of the state's rural regions. Booyah! Love it. They are irrelevant and irrelevant. There's no elephants involved in this
We'll see if
whatsoever.
Denver, take note.
We will see if New York follows suit. The rural, can never say that fucking word.
What you need to do,
Need some peanut butter.
The outskirts.
The Hinterboonies.
what you need to do,
That, what he said.
The Hinterboonies.
what you need to do is fill your mouth full of beer and then say rural.
I knew what was going to happen. I just
Well,
had to
there's
do it.
no way I was going to be able to follow it. That would have been snarf worthy. That would have been.
I knew what was going to happen. I just had to do it. And yes, if he tells me to jump off a bridge, I'm going to do
If
that
you
too.
didn't, I was going to.
That alone was worth the price of it.
Oh, Bill. There's no way we could have done that
And
together.
they say I'm,
One of us would have snarfed.
Yep.
and they say I'm the one that keeps it cool.
You're just a bad influence.
Yes, you are.
Good.
Just stay there. All right. Jesus.
I still can't say that word.
Like I said, I've caught that a couple of times. That's why I use Hinterboonies. All right, let's see. Some sheriffs, like Sheriff Cook, are refusing to enforce the laws, saying that they are too vague and violate Second Amendment rights, of course. Many more say that enforcement will be a very low priority, as several sheriffs put it. But all seven of the 62 elected sheriffs in Colorado signed, all but seven of the 62 elected sheriffs in Colorado signed on in May to a federal lawsuit challenging the constitutionality of the statutes.
I was
Okay.
close.
Okay. Let's see. The resistance of sheriffs in Colorado is playing out in other states, raising questions about whether tougher rules passed since Newtown will have a muted effect in parts of the American heartland. They're not going to have any effect at all, except to disarm the citizenry. And seeing as how that's precisely what they want with these laws, why do you think that sheriffs are dragging their feet? Because they know what's really behind this. It's not to make anybody safe. You had gun-free zones by law. How well is that working out for you, asshole?
They became target-rich environment.
Exactly. Well, that's the whole idea behind a gun-free zone. When you can't fight back, you basically...
Bohica.
Thank you.
Bend over, here it comes
You
again.
knew that's where I was going with it, too. Of course, since we talked about the whole Duck Dynasty controversy, I really wasn't going to go back and revisit that issue. Let's see. In New York State, where Governor Andrew M. Cuomo, never mind, signed one of the toughest gun law packages in the nation last January, two sheriffs have said publicly they would not enforce the laws. In action that Mr. Cuomo said would set a dangerous and frightening precedent, only to you liberal assholes. The sheriff's refusal is unlikely to have much effect in the state. According to the state's Division of Criminal Justice Services, since 2010, sheriffs have filed less than 2% of the two most common felony gun charges. vast majority of charges are filed by the state or local police. What can we extrapolate from that? We'll chew on that later. In Liberty County, Florida, is it properly named? We'll find out. A jury in October acquitted a sheriff, apparently so, who had been suspended and charged with misconduct after he released a man arrested by a deputy on charges of carrying a concealed firearm.
Yep.
The sheriff, who was immediately reinstated by the governor, Liberty County indeed, said he was protecting the man's Second Amendment rights. Well done, Sheriff. And in California, a delegation of sheriffs met with Governor Jerry Brown, Governor Moonbeam, this fall to try to persuade him to veto gun bills passed by the legislature. Boy, you guys were wasting your breath there. Nice try, though. Including measures banning semi-automatic rifles with detachable magazines and lead ammunition for hunting. Mr. Brown signed the ammunition bill, but vetoed the bill outlawing the rifles. So you're not allowed to use lead in your state, but you can have the gun. Dude's gotta lay off the weed. Or the shrooms, or whatever the hell he's been taking. This guy's been a stoner for years. Our way of life means nothing to these politicians, and our interests are not being promoted in the legislative halls of Sacramento or Washington, D.C., said John E. Lope, sure it is, the sheriff of Siskiyou? Yeah, Siskiyou County, California. One of those who met with Governor Moonbeam. Sorry. If I got a chance to do a mock mood, I can't keep a job. I'm going to be doing that too. All right. He said enforcing gun laws was not a priority for him. I love that. And he added that residents of his rural region near the Oregon border are equally frustrated by regulations imposed by the Federal Forest Service and the Environmental Protection Agency. Once again, folks, regulations are not laws. Don't obey them. Okay? You gotta have some stones, find out where yours are, and utilize them. No. Go ahead. What do you got there?
I was just gonna say, I'm trying to think of a good example of how not to obey regulations.
Simply don't. Simply don't.
Well, we need to give them the name of a place that go to find out. They're listening to it right now.
Exactly right. But yeah, I wouldn't know any place like that. Let's see. Where do we go? Where do we go? Where do we go? Shit, I lost it. It's right for me. I lost it. Okay. This year, the new gun laws in Colorado have become political flashpoints. 2 state senators who supported the legislation. That's 2. Let's see. Got it?
Yep.
Okay, you sure?
No, I had to get my toes out.
I wonder what that smell was.
I'm okay.
I've been waiting a long time to get you with that one, fucker. Dude, you were involved in that one. We'll explain during the break. All right, straighten up. Let's see. A third resigned last month rather than face a recall. Efforts to repeal the statutes are already in the works. I didn't know they'd gone that far.
I didn't know either.
That's news. Thank you, New York Times. Some actual investigative journalism.
Wonder if that reporter's still working for him.
Good call. All right. Countering the elected sheriffs are some police chiefs. Well, of course, we've told you about this.
Police chiefs are political appointees.
And sheriffs are elected public officials and public servants. All right. Okay. Countering the elected sheriffs are some police chiefs, especially in urban areas, and state officials who say the laws are not only enforceable, but they're already having an effect. Liars! Most gun stores have stopped selling the high-capacity magazines for personal use. Otherwise, they'll be raided and shut down! Although one sheriff acknowledged that some stores continue to sell them illegally. The sheriff acknowledged this being so. He's not doing anything about it, though, is he? No, no. Some people who are selling or otherwise transferring guns privately are seeking background checks. I want to meet these idiots. Private sellers looking I just want to comply with the law. You're an idiot!
I don't want it, no.
No.
I don't want your merchandise, you don't need my money.
Here we go. Eric Brown, a spokesman for Governor John W. Hickenlooper of Colorado. How the fuck did you get elected, bro? Alright, particularly on background checks, the numbers show the law is working. Oh boy, are you spinning this out of control. The Colorado Bureau of Investigation has run 3,445 checks on private sales since the law went into effect, and has denied gun sales to 70 people. Yeah, you're really having an effect there, bro. A federal district court judge last month ruled against the claim in the sheriff's lawsuit that one part of the magazine law was unconstitutionally vague. Federal district court. Not too
Federal is all you need to know.
Not too surprising. The judge also ruled that while the sheriffs could sue as individuals, they had no standing to sue in their official capacity. I would like to see a little more information on that. If any of our listeners out there have any kind of legal background, I want to get some clarification on that one. That one is kind of interesting. Because I remember that the sheriffs got together as sheriffs
They
to file a
conspired.
lawsuit.
They conspired.
Yeah, that's exactly what they're saying.
They must be terrorists.
The sheriffs are, well, they're trying to paint them as
2
this.
points.
Okay.
One, if they denied 70 out of so many thousand, how many have been denied under the old law for the same number of people? Okay. Second, the sheriff is representing the people of his county. Otherwise, he would not have been elected sheriff. Okay. So where do they get? He has no standing. He is representing the people.
That's what I would think. That's why I'd like to get a legal clarification on that. Because
Saying
something
that
just doesn't make sense.
saying that someone has no standing is just an easy way to throw the case out. When they don't have anything else to throw it out on.
I don't know. See, this is why I really like to get a legal definition of just what standing, you know, what entails
Well, the-
standing in a court matter, in a legal matter.
This also came up in Mass during the all the court cases that were brought about body odor and his eligibility
Right.
to serve. And a lot of cases were thrown out due to the fact that the plaintiffs had no legal standing. And my question then was, how in the fuck does an American citizen not have legal standing to question the eligibility of their president?
Indeed.
Or challenge the constitutionality of any law that is being pursued.
How do you not have legal standing?
IRS and tax cases, they have this all the time. Whenever you want to challenge whether or not you actually owe federal income tax, the case is frivolous, has no merit, and the plaintiff has no standing. I want to know how they get away with this. Mostly the people who are challenging this no longer have any money because the feds have taken it all. We're getting off on a tangent here. We'll never get back to this. Let's see what else we got here. The state's top law enforcement officials acknowledged that sheriffs had wide discretion in enforcing state laws. Quote, "We're not in a position of telling sheriffs and chiefs what to do or not to do," said Lance Clem, sure it was, a spokesman for the Colorado Department of Public Safety. "We have people calling us all the time, thinking they've got an issue with their sheriff, and we tell them we don't have the authority to intervene. You're right, you don't. The sheriff is the chief law enforcement official in each county."
The only person
He's not.
above the sheriff is the coroner.
That's exactly right, which is kind of interesting. One of these days we'll actually get into the ramifications behind that.
Yeah.
Let's see. Sheriffs who refuse to enforce gun laws around the country are in the minority, though no statistics exist. In Colorado, though, sheriffs like Joe Pell of Boulder County, who support the laws and have more liberal constituencies that back them, are outnumbered. Okay? A lot of sheriffs are claiming the Constitution, saying they're not going to enforce this because they personally believe it violates the Second Amendment, Sheriff Pell said. But that stance in and of itself violates the Constitution. No, it doesn't.
How in the hell? What?
You are under no legal obligation to enforce an unconstitutional law.
Or carry out an unconstitutional order.
Exactly right. This guy does not know what he's talking about. And even a neophyte like myself can figure this one. Alright. Even Sheriff W. Pete Palmer of Chaffee County, one of the 7 sheriffs who declined to join the federal lawsuit because he felt duty-bound to carry out the laws. Wow, what a tool you are. Alright. Says he was unlikely to aggressively enforce them. He said enforcement poses huge practical difficulties, and besides, he has neither the resources nor the pressure from his constituents to make active enforcement a high priority. Violations of the laws are misdemeanors. Ignore them. Simply ignore them. The only thing this law has been effective in doing is limiting the supply in Colorado.
Caused the loss of 800 some jobs.
Yeah, since Magpul pulled
Well,
out.
indeed. But as far as a personal, as far as the citizens of the state are concerned, it has made things a lot more difficult to acquire. I'm thinking road trip, a couple tractor trailer loads full of magazines, sell them in parking lots.
They fell out the back end as you come across the state line.
Darn, I hate when that happens. All right.
I told them they needed to put that strap on.
Load securement, that's a violation, man. Load securement. That's it. Gonna have to write you up for that, Sean. Quote, all law enforcement agencies consider the community standards. What is it that our community wishes us to focus on? And I can tell you, our community is not worried one whit about background checks or high-capacity magazines, he says. He didn't join the lawsuit, but he doesn't seem to really have a problem with the new violating the new laws. Just our people don't give a shit.
He's a coward.
He's a fence sitter.
Yeah, that's where he is.
Well, the problem with that, Sheriff, and I'm speaking to you, Sheriff, being a fence sitter means the bullets come at you from both directions.
Mm-hmm.
Choose a side and choose wisely.
All right. Here we go here. And this is where you're starting to see the New York Times filter in. At their extreme, the views of sheriffs who refuse to enforce gun laws echo the stand of Richard Mack, a former Arizona sheriff and the author of The County Sheriff, America's Last Hope. He put the name of the book out. Dumbasses, you shouldn't have done that.
Fucking idiot.
Yep. Mr. Mack has argued that county sheriffs are the ultimate arbiters of what is constitutional and what is not. Pretty much. The Constitutional Sheriffs and Peace Officers Association, founded by Mr. Mack, is an organization of sheriffs and other officers who support his views. They support the Constitution. Alright. Doesn't matter whether you like it or not. The Supreme Court does not run my office, Mr. Mack said in an interview. Just because they allow something doesn't mean that a good constitutional sheriff is going to do it. Indeed. He said that 250 sheriffs from around the country attended the association's recent convention. That's a good start. Let's see. Let's go through this real quick. Oh,
We're
might
at
have
the
to
top.
might have to. What's this?
We're at the top.
How the fuck did that happen?
Tick, tock, tick, tock.
Eat that, you asshole. You, sir, are a dickhead. Just thought I'd mention that in case you didn't know. All right, well, look. We done hit it again.
Time flies when you're shooting your mouth off.
Oh, son of a bitch. All right. One piece of news. Well, we still got some more news. Like I said, we got about a half hour to kill, and before we get into something a little more serious. So, folks, once again, we're going to take another break. Where do I want to go with this? Oh, yeah. A perennial favorite here. Folks, we're going to be right back here listening to Pennsylvania American Patriot Radio. Braveheart. We'll be right back.
Turn that up a little bit so they can hear it.
About you. Daily declarations of really red on a green every Christmas tree. won't be listening, baby. If you're not here with him, and when those every blue, if it's no place, if it starts falling, that's the way when those every blue,
Don't forget about that email I want to leave. We'll do that at the top of the hour.
you'll be doing all really right with your Christmas you're right, everybody.
Best part about it is the dude listening. Yeah.
Oh, baby, I don't miss You'll be doing all right with your Christmas, you're right, every blue Christmas.
You're listening to Crawford County's alternative source for news and information. Pennsylvania American Patriot Radio. It's Ravart, 88.7 FM, Meadville, Pennsylvania. The following program may contain adult language and adult content. Listener discretion is advised. This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill. Story ends. You wake up in your bed and then whatever you do.
Blip, 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 blip.
One of that pile of your signs there that you bought is the one for...
I need to turn that down.
Yeah, it's a shame. Once again,
Unfortunately,
yeah, listen to the shoutcast for the audio. All this copyright nonsense. All right, we got about a half hour. John, how long do you think you're?
it's not long.
Okay.
I mean, any discussion of
We
this
get
option.
let's get closer to the bottom of the hour before you go into
Okay.
that one, because I want to cover. We actually do need to do a couple more pieces of news here.
All right.
What are you thinking?
Something I was thinking, but it's gone now. Blinked and gone.
Now work on it. It'll come back. With a little Trans-Siberian Orchestra in here.
One thing about that story is, he made a statement, even though the sheriffs have refused to enforce those laws are a minority, but they have no statistics, then how can you say that they're a minority? If you have no statistics for numbers, you cannot say that.
Yeah, I need to go back through that and see just what the heck.
You don't have to.
No, out of curiosity, because
And that.
okay, run that by me again, because I really don't remember saying what you said I just said.
Well, I may not have said it exactly the way it was written there, but it was saying they had no numbers to back up the fact that the sheriffs were minority.
See, the sheriffs are not a minority. That's why I'm trying to figure where you got that. I don't recall saying that the sheriffs were a minority. So I'm not sure what you're referring to.
No, I misheard it, misread it, or not misread it, but misheard it. It happens.
I'm really not sure where you got that one, dude.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, we're running out of time here too. We gotta get back into this. All right. Let's see.
Murph.
Widow faces eviction for living off the grid. The carjacking scam, do those, and then that should cover the bulk of the first half hour. Then we'll get to your bit. Then we'll get into the actual Christmas part of the program. Get ready to go back. And we're back once again, ladies and gentlemen. You're listening to the third hour. Pennsylvania American Patriot Radio. Braveheart, 88.7 FM, lovely Newville, Pennsylvania. Where it's not raining quite so hard now. Of course, we may have to swim to get to our vehicles. Ran a little bit long in that last article. I'm not sure how the hell that happened. Did seem to have a little bit of fun with it. Not going to get a whole lot of news done here tonight. We have to cover a few more things here. Let's see. How do we want to play this? Warning from police. Now, I didn't know this was a police issue. Okay, I really wish that whoever sent this just... Yeah, it had a lot of extraneous stuff to it. I'm trying to filter it out. Let's see. Okay, this isn't the same as what I've seen. Okay. Apparently the individual who sent this had this happen to him. This isn't just the story. Okay. New tactic on carjacking. And, okay, just last week on Friday night we parked in a public parking area. As we drove away I noticed a sticker on the rear window of the car. When I took it off after I got home, it was a receipt for gas. Luckily my friend told me not to stop, as it could be someone waiting for me to get out of the car. Then we received this email yesterday. Okay. This is a person who actually had stuff happen to him. That's why he's got so much extra crap in here. Warning from police. This applies to both men and women. Beware of paper on the back window of your vehicle. It's a new way to do carjacking. Okay. You walk across the parking lot, unlock your car, and get inside. Start the engine shift in reverse, and when you look in the rear of your mirror to back out of your parking space, you notice a piece of paper stuck to the middle of the rear window. So, you shift into park, unlock your doors. I don't lock my doors when I get in a car. Some cars automatically lock when you put them in gear, but I don't do that. And you jump out of your car to remove that paper, whatever it is, that is obstructing your view. When you reach the back of your car, that is when the carjackers appear out of nowhere, jump into your car and take off. They practically mow you down as they speed off in your car. And guess what, ladies? I'll bet your purse is still in the car. So now the carjacker has your car, your home address, your money, and your keys. Your home and your whole identity are now compromised. Beware of this new scheme. If you see a piece of paper stuck to your back window, just drive away. Remove the paper later. And be thankful you read this email. Okay. I got to thinking about this one. That's actually pretty freaking smart.
It is.
Because what they said is absolutely true. Your first thing, okay, what the hell is that? Anytime you see something that you didn't stick on your window, you think, ticket? Should be under the windshield wiper.
Right.
But you don't know. Example, when a DOT puts a truck out of service, they take an adhesive sticker and stick it to the windshield of the damn truck. Until your time's up, that sticker does not come off. And when it does come off, it doesn't come off completely. You've got to get a scraper and scrape that damn thing off. It's the same kind of adhesive that they use for inspection stickers. So they make sure you... Sometimes they'll stick it to the side of a trailer over top of the numbers or the logo on your truck. And when you go to scrape it off, it ends up taking the identification numbers and the logo and everything, scratches your paint and everything. Yeah, they're real dickheads about that. The whole idea is to make sure, by God, you're not going to move until we say you're allowed to. So it's not an uncommon tactic. They're just, somebody got the idea of doing this to civilians. So while you're out there trying to get the thing off the back window of your car, they jump in with, you can leave the door open. You're just going to walk out there, grab it. That's when they jump out, jump in your car, gone.
That's why, no matter where you're at, when you get into the car, you should always look around.
Well, you should, and I do. We talked about this the other day. I think you and I were talking about this.
Situational awareness.
Yeah.
Yes.
You gotta stay conditioned yellow the whole damn time. When I walk up to my car, it's from years ago street trip on my truck. I do a walk around. Is anything hanging off of it? Is anything leaking underneath it? What else going on here? That's when, of course, I do lock my car when I leave it, but I don't lock my car after I get into it. I just don't.
My two Dodges, my truck and Bobby's Durango, both, well, it does no good when you first get in and put in gear. They both automatically lock all the doors at 15 miles an hour, which really makes no sense.
I've seen a lot of cars that do that. Me, I lock my car when I leave, set the alarm on it. When I come out, I unlock it, and only the driver's door is unlocked. And I don't unlock anything else. So it's only the driver's door that's unlocked. And of course, I always have a weapon on me, so that's and I've already got that part covered. But once I read this, there's a lot of this stuff that comes through the emails and such that you question. Okay, come on, guys, really? Is this just more spam? Not in this
Or
case.
just the propagation of an urban legend.
Exactly. And there's entirely too many of those going around. But I see this, and it absolutely makes sense. I'm good.
No, I'm good.
Okay, I'll be the lush tonight.
Well, everything for me is started here. I didn't take my antacids before I came in today. You know those.
Now, that's not a miss.
You told me you sent those down, so I ate the damn thing, so.
The light sent it down.
I saw this maybe about a week and a half ago, and the more I got to thinking about it, I thought, okay, this isn't one of those, crank things that take up time. This actually makes sense.
So it's just a public service announcement.
Indeed. I still, again, another public service announcement. We do these all the time. Wipers on, lights on, please. Pretty please.
I ran into a situation like that on the way home yesterday from work on Interstate 90. It ran into Beat Hill, and somebody was going a little bit slower than I wanted to. And I went to pull into the Hammer Lane to pass them. Luckily, I am very thorough when I check my surroundings. And there was a gray car coming up in the Hammer Lane without its headlights on. And had I not noticed them, I would have pulled out into the Hammer Lane, and they would have rear-ended me. They were moving that fast.
Oh yeah.
And they did not have their lights on.
And the theory is, and you'll see this amongst older drivers, older men, they get awful persnickety about this. I can see just fine, I don't need to turn my damn lights on. It's not about you. The guy that comes to mind is my buddy Bill's dad. And the old Marine drill sergeant. And the man is just hardcore set in his ways, and by God, if it's not done his way, it's obviously wrong. And he's softened up a little bit over the last couple of years. But he's one that is absolutely convinced that if you turn those lights on any longer than you absolutely have to, you're wasting money. And it's just, you're wearing out the alternator, you're wasting money, things gonna fail, I'm gonna have to replace them bulbs, I'm paying for them damn things.
Grew up in the Depression.
Yeah, well, that's exactly it. And he's real hardcore on it. And
In all actuality, back when he grew up, it took more energy to fire something up than does to keep it going. And
Exactly.
it
Fluorescent
takes
lights
a good
are,
day.
fluorescent lights are a perfect example of that. The most energy they use is when they turn on. Once they come on and get warm, they use almost no energy to stay on.
Yeah.
Well, you realize that fluorescent tubes don't actually produce light.
No,
They absorb dark.
yes,
That's why-
absolutely. Yeah, and it's not just fluorescent tubes, it's all lights.
No. The fluorescents especially. And you can always tell when they're powered up, they draw all the darkness out of the room. That's why, see, you can see real well.
Right.
Well, when the power's taken off, all that darkness flies out back into the
Well,
room.
well-
And you can always tell when a bulb is getting ready at the end of the light because all the darkness does not leave. There's a little bit on each end.
Mhm. Yeah, and what happens when a light bulb burns out? It's full. You have to change it. It's full of dark.
Exactly.
It can't absorb anymore.
And because it's not functioning anymore, you can't release it. So.
And they're only made to last, or hold so many hours worth of dark anyway.
I had a
It
kid.
is so difficult trying to maintain it with everybody's in on the gag.
I had a kid believing that story. The
That-
best part was-
that's another one that I got from my buddy Bill.
The best part was
Hmm.
when he said, "But we always learned in school that they give off light." Then you get all conspiratorial on them.
Well, of course.
They want you to think.
Certainly. You gotta sell it, like that son of a bitch. He sold me on a couple of things doing stuff like that when you have to get real serious and throw just a little bit of fact in with the bullshit. Once you've done that,
Yep.
you're hooked. All right, what do we got here? I saw this and I really didn't know what the hell was going on here. This next story, this comes to us from WorldNet Daily. Widow faces eviction for living off the grid. We're going to read the article. I'm reading this as we go here because I'm not quite sure how this is working. All right. Imagine making a choice to live without modern amenities, such as running water and electricity. Amish?
Very close.
Apparently you can't do that in Cape Coral, Florida. Widow Robin Spironis, sorry, Madeira, if I get your name wrong, of Cape Coral, Florida, is among the growing number of Americans who happily embrace the alternative lifestyle known as living off the grid. Not to be confused with other alternative lifestyles, but we're not going to get into that right now. Robin doesn't have a refrigerator, oven, running water, or electricity at her modern home. I see no problem here. Most of what she owns was free, donated, or bought for next to nothing. She cooks on a propane camping stove. Her electronics run on solar-charged batteries. Sounds like she's living in a retreat. And when Robin needs water, she collects it in rain barrels and uses a colloidal silver generator to disinfect it. Booyah! I'm loving this. All right. My message was to create, so I created a happy place, a place where I get up. And I'm like, this is beautiful, she told WFTX TV in Fort Myers. Unfortunately for Robin, her decision to talk to a local TV station about off-the-grid living put her on the radar of the city of Cape Coral. Here we go. The very next day, authorities tacked a notice to vacate the property on her door, despite the fact she owns her home free and clear and is up to date on her taxes.
Okay. Right now, listen up. Where is this at again?
Cape Coral, Florida.
Cape Coral, Florida. Anybody listening there or that is near there, it is time to take up arms and go and defend this lady.
Exactly, and if you don't, you're a bunch of douchebags and you need to be shot yourself. She's living free and clear, but apparently the government doesn't allow that. How dare you live without us? There we go. A code enforcement officer. You're going to be swinging from a lamppost, bitch.
At the very least, you're going to be wiping your ass with a hook.
I love this. Knocked on the door, then posted a placard that says, uninhabitable property, do not enter. How do you figure? She's got everything she needs. The city's code compliance manager told the station the home was tagged because it doesn't have running water or electricity. But neither is mentioned as a requirement in the code cited by the city on the notice. sounds like the city feels that this is an unsanitary situation," said WFTX reporter Leader Fernandez. Okay. "How would they know?" Speronis said. "They've never been inside." In the bathroom, a camping shower solves the problem of no running water. "This will heat up with 3 hours in the sun, but I'll take a shower at any temperature, it's fine for me," pointing to the crude contraption. It's not really all that crude. Actually, a camping shower's not that bad a deal. And when nature calls, Robin uses water from her rain barrel to fill the tank of the toilet and flush it as though she had running water.
She's got a toilet.
There's no problem here. Where's the justice? Why did they choose me? I was exercising my First Amendment rights of free speech and discussing living off the grid. Putting a woman who lives by herself, who is a widow, out on the street without any due process of law is unfathomable. Unfathomable. And then words.
It's a rural word.
You got it out?
I had to struggle.
Okay, Robin's husband died 3 years ago after battling a debilitating neuromuscular disease. She says navigating the costly and frustrating healthcare system prompted her to unplug. Oh, my dear, wait till you see what's coming as far as the healthcare system is concerned. But we digress. I wanted to look at every other part of my lifestyle and say, do I need this? Is this of value to me? If it went away tomorrow, what would I do? The woman's got a prepper mindset. A local attorney has decided to represent Speronis for free, according to WFTX TV. Kate Coral told the station if Speronis can prove she can sustain her life and the home without running water or electricity, they may be able to come to an agreement.
There is no fucking agreement. Leave her alone.
That's an agreement, dude. Come on. Relax. If I'm going to bring this to the attention of anyone who will listen, I'm going to bring this to the attention of anyone who will listen until justice is served, she said. She's a feisty old lady here. Living off the grid is less about pinching pennies and more about principle for Robin. She vows to fight any future legal challenges by the city. I'm prepared, and if that challenge comes up, we'll deal with it, said Robin. And if my Father in Heaven wants me to be the test case for something, I'll be the test case for something.
Good for her. Thank you,
I like this woman.
She's got more balls than most of the men in this country.
No doubt, because
She
most of the dudes would have capitulated by now.
She needs a platoon of armed patriots standing guard.
Yeah,
on her
unarmed to start
property.
with. Unarmed to start with. And if it escalates, then they're the ones they're going to make the escalation. She just got some friends over to make sure she's okay. That's how it starts. But, what's with full skin? I mean, she's got everything covered here. All right, the city's got a problem without no electricity. Okay, so what happens? What happens if a hurricane comes through? You're gonna be out without electricity for a while. Do you throw everybody out of their houses then? No.
Sure.
Let's see. And no running water. She's got that covered too. She's still hooked up to the sewer system. She's got water from rain barrels. She's got it covered.
Maybe that's the problem, because there are some states, I think Nevada's one of them, you're not allowed, or maybe it's Utah, you're not allowed to collect rainwater.
I've got a few things to say about that one too.
I got a footnote on that.
You knew it was coming.
On
Don't
the,
act like you didn't.
on the rainwater issue,
Yeah.
my son got a notice in the mail for his quarterly payment for rainwater runoff from the city water department.
What?
Rainwater runoff in the city of Meadville is taxable, although they don't call it a tax. It's $100 a year for him because of the house size he has.
You are being charged?
Because of the water that runs off of your property into the storm sewers. Yeah, I know.
I told him what we need to do now is make a gigantic compounded umbrella to put over his house to cover his whole property, square property area.
Then they'll charge him for the water that runs off the umbrella.
Yeah, that's what they'll try to do. It's not coming from my property, man. I've defused it.
Hey, my property's bone dry.
Wait a minute! Just a goddamn fucking minute!
Merry Christmas, John.
Happy New Year, John.
Whee!
You want to take another mouthful of beer and say
Wait a
hello
minute.
again?
Wait a minute! Is this another Americans with No
No.
Abilities Act?
No.
No,
Dude, this is for real.
it's for real.
Charged an annual fee.
Yeah.
Let's not call it a tax.
No. Some places do call it a tax, but no. Meadville apparently didn't like that language. I don't know why. I really didn't know that Meadville had that problem. I didn't think we'd gone that stupid.
It's been in effect
Storm-
now for 2 years, I think.
Okay, that explains it. Stormwater runoff? Is
Yeah.
that what they're calling it?
Yeah.
Or okay, yeah.
Fuck off and die screaming.
Fodes.
There ain't no fucking way in hell.
Dude, more places are doing that as they're trying to find ways to generate revenue to pay for shit that they shouldn't be paying for.
Yeah, so you got 17,000.
From Jack, the water department here in Cleveland started that this year.
It's a way to generate revenue.
You take the city of Meadville has, let's say, 17,000
I'm not sure
residents.
where this started, but once the first community started doing it and the word got out,
Everybody.
wow, what a great damn idea!
Yeah. People bitch about property increase or sewer rate increase or water rate increase. Well, we'll give them a legitimate reason for it.
I am serving notice right now
He's serving notice.
that in Springboro, Pennsylvania,
In Springboro.
if they try to enact something like that, number one, I'm going to refuse to pay it. And number two, when they come to collect, bring your own body bag.
Oh,
And I'm not kidding. I will shoot to kill. Fuck you.
by the way, an update. Remember I made a comment here a couple of weeks, maybe a month or so, 2 months ago, about,
That covers an awful lot of time, dude. You want to get a little more specific?
well, it's about, what it was about was, the township was negotiating with Armstrong, or Armstrong was negotiating with the township
Ew.
for right-of-way permits for the cable. The township was wanting money from them, which was going to force the increase in the cable fees.
Don't know nothing about it, dude.
Well, this appeared here in the paper here, and, the citizens got wind of it, and they went to the township meeting, and it got voted down unanimously.
Cool.
Unanimously.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, if you can't say rural, at least I can do a same unanimously.
Try that again without hurting yourself. Every one of us has got a word we go, bleh. We just can't get it.
I can, however, say linoleum.
I ain't gonna, no. Listen, if I do, I'm gonna fuck it up. No, do not look at me like I am not doing it. Fuck you. I'm not doing it. You can't make me do it either. Bleh.
Is that like aluminium?
There's no such word. Anyhow, all right. I wish we'd be able to find a way to keep track of this one.
Yeah, that's,
Every time we get a hold of one of these stories, we'd like to keep, you never hear another word about it ever again.
No, because it generally pisses people off to the point where they start doing what we're doing.
Or the plaintiff wins and the
You can't have that get out.
No, exactly right. They gotta cover that the hell up. I'd love to find out whether or not that's gonna work, because Cape Coral, Florida. What part of the state that's?
I was gonna say, I don't even know where the hell that is. But any patriots living nearby, go defend this poor lady.
it must be somewhere, well, I don't know, it says Fort Myers.
Fort Myers.
Yeah, Fort Myers.
You can't say that either.
Yeah. For the city of Cape Coral, so I'll give you Cape Coral.
I'd like to know how big that city is too,
Yeah.
to where they've got a code enforcement.
Where's the sheriff?
Well, he's probably one of those that believes that she should be.
Well, I don't know. This is Florida.
Where's the sheriff?
She
Well,
might
then-
not. She might not know to check that out
That may not come into play until after she gets the,
until they actually try to force the eviction.
yeah.
And the sheriff would be the one who would have to
The
enforce it.
sheriff would be the one to do that, wouldn't he?
Yes, he would.
Or her.
He, she, it.
Some of them, when you tell them to go fuck themselves, they literally can. But
More than I really need to
we
know.
digress.
Mm.
What I'd like to do is figure out a way of getting a hold of this lady and tell her that we're interested in finding out how she makes out,
Get her on the air.
you know.
I'm on it!
Here, you take
Give me
that.
that. Give me that.
Or a representative thereof, because again, she is living off the grid.
Yeah.
Although she did say her electronic devices are powered by batteries. She may
So
very
are
well
mine.
be online.
She might be online, she might have a cell
Yeah.
phone.
Who knows? Well, I can't imagine her not.
Well, I can't imagine her not having some form of
Yeah.
communication with the outside world.
Being an elderly woman living by herself, she'd have to be able to communicate with somebody.
Obviously, she can't make it on her own, and it's just exacerbated by the fact that she's off the grid. We can't have that.
No, heavens to Betsy, no.
We know it's best for you, and it's best for you to be totally dependent upon us.
All right, we have hit the bottom of the hour. John. Well, folks, once again, we've come to the last half hour of the last show of the year. And we're going to take the stupidity and ratchet it down about as far as we possibly can. It's time to get a little more serious and hopefully a little bit more reverent. This is the Christmas season, regardless of what anybody else wants to call it. I said earlier that the whole idea behind the holiday season is a commercial construct. It always used to be the Christmas season, this time surrounding the actual day of Christmas. And it has since been expanded. Initially, time between Thanksgiving and Christmas. Then you started to add New Year's, and now it's become a holiday season. Now, for guys, especially here in Pennsylvania, it's Thanksgiving, first day of deer, Christmas, New Year's, Super Bowl. That's the holiday season, where you eat, drink, and be merry the entire damn time. And then, of course, you've got the retailers doing the whole, only 90 days, only 90 shopping days.
Only 364 days.
Yeah, exactly. Black Friday and Cyber Monday and all this happy nonsense. And wow, have we gotten so far away from the reason for the season. And it gets worse and worse every year. We've seen the attacks repeatedly on even mentioning the true reason that we even consider this time of the year special. Now, whether it's biblical or not, at this stage of the game is really besides the point. This time of the year is when believers in the divinity of the man known as Jesus choose to celebrate his arrival on this earth. And, okay, it might not be biblical, but is that really such a bad thing? To celebrate everything that the man stood for? Whether you believe that he is the risen Lord or not, is it really so hard for you to just accept it for what it is? If somebody wishes you a Merry Christmas, thanks, you too. Know that the spirit that it is given, they're only wishing you the best because they believe in their heart. You don't have to, they do. And in that spirit, they're wishing you the best that they possibly have to offer. The best that they know of, the best that they could possibly experience. And you're going to reject that and say that you're offended by it? I don't understand that. Now, I'll admit, as I've grown older, I've gotten more bitter and cynical by the year, and longtime listeners to this show know that. I have lost my ability to really have a sense of wonder about this year. It's been beaten out of me, literally. And now that, once again, Mikey's been flying solo for a long time. My family's dispersed. My parents died at the beginning of this year. And riding solo, it gets much, much more difficult. But there are still times when I can say, well, thank you, you too. And actually mean it. It's not easy. But when somebody wishes you a Merry Christmas, just accept it in the spirit that it is given. Don't get your hackles up. They're not trying to shove religion down your throat. They're wishing you the best that they know, the best that they can experience, because of what the season represents to them. It doesn't have to mean the same thing for you. Accept it in the spirit that it's given. Stop trying to pick a fight. Too many people do that right now. There's a lot of other nonsense that we've got to put up with. Try and take this time of the year, examine your heart. I usually am not big on this, because I've always said I'm more concerned with what you think than what you feel. Okay, folks, ditch that. Just for this time. Think with your heart. Take all that hardness and bitterness and, in some cases, outright hatred that is built up, and get all that poison out of your system. If you don't believe, use this as an opportunity anyway. Get that poison out of your heart, out of your soul. Lighten up. Try to see the good in the world. It's not easy. To some people, it's almost impossible. But there's no other time during the year that you're going to have a better chance. Because most people are living the idea of peace on earth and goodwill towards men. Accept it in the spirit that it's given. All right, John, you got something you wanted to talk about there, bro. Let's start up start this portion of the program.
We got a lot of good mail this week. Sadly, we're not going to get to all of it, any of it, except for one. A listener who goes only by DB, Delta Bravo. I have no idea who it is. He, she, they send us good stuff every now and then. As I read this, think about, keep in the back of your mind what the government has done to our veterans as recently as this week. This is entitled A Different Christmas Poem. I don't know who the author is, it's not listed. The embers glowed softly in their dim light. I gazed round the room and I cherished the sight. My wife was asleep, her head on my chest. My daughter beside me, angelic in rest. Outside the snow fell, a blanket of white, transforming the yard to a winter delight. The sparkling lights in the tree, I believe, completed the magic that was Christmas Eve. My eyelids were heavy, my breathing was deep, secure and surrounded by the love I would sleep. In perfect contentment, or so it would seem, so slumbered I, perhaps I started to dream. The sound wasn't loud, and it wasn't too near, but I opened my eyes when it tickled my ear. Perhaps just a cough, I didn't quite know. Then the sure sound of footsteps outside in the snow. My soul gave a tremble, I struggled to hear, and I crept to the door just to see who was near. Standing out in the cold, in the dark of the night, a lone figure stood, his face weary and tight. A soldier, I puzzled, some 20 years old, perhaps a trooper huddled here in the cold. Alone in the dark, he looked up and smiled, standing watch over me, my wife, and my child. "What are you doing?" I asked without fear. "Come in this moment. It's freezing out here." "Put down your pack, brush the snow from your sleeve. You should be at home on a cold Christmas Eve." For barely a moment I saw his eye shift, away from the cold and the snow blown in drifts, to the window that danced with a warm fire's light. Then he sighed and he said, "It's really all right. I'm out here by choice. I'm here every night. It's my duty to stand at the front of the line that separates you from the darkest of times. No one had to ask or beg or implore me. I'm proud to stand here like my fathers before me. My Gramps died in Europe on a day in December." Then he said, "That's a Christmas Gram always remembers. I've not seen my own son in more than a while, but my wife sends me pictures. He sure got her smile." Then he bent and he carefully pulled from his bag the red, white, and blue American flag. "I can live through the cold and the being alone, away from my family, my house, and my home. I can stand at my post through the rain and the sleet. I can sleep in a foxhole with little to eat. I can carry the weight of killing another, or lay down my life with my sister and brother, who stand at the front against any and all, to ensure for all time that this flag will not fall. So go back inside," he said, "harbor no fright. Your family is waiting, and I'll be all right. But isn't there something I can do at the least? Give you money," I asked, "or prepare you a feast? It seems all too little for all that you have done, for being away from your wife and your son." Then his eye welled a tear that held no regret. "Just tell us you love us, and never forget. To fight for our rights back at home while we're gone. To stand your own watch, no matter how long. For when we come home, either standing or dead, to know you remember we fought and we bled is payment enough, and with that we will trust that we matter to you as you matter to us."
No, that's not it. Lost it. Hang on. That's not it. Damn it. Got the wrong one. He shifted. There we go. I turned away from this and I lost the song one. Sorry about that, guys. Where the hell is it? I don't care if everybody here has a problem with this or not. Just remember, you're the one that wanted to put the camera in.
That's all right, John. It's okay to be emotional.
You're supposed to be, but
It's striking a little bit harder with me because I'm of the generation of guys that come back from Vietnam in which they were throwing shit on and that kind of stuff and called baby killers. Of course, I should have a mic on me, but
what's going on with that? You're fine. We still got another piece after this, and then I'll read this one.
But you know, the worst part of the whole thing is he's right about how the vets are being treated when they get home, especially the ones that have suffered physical damage, let alone the mental damage.
All right, let's, from this point on, we keep it more up. That was up in a certain way, as a reminder. But let's end on. Make sure this doesn't bail on me.
He was born of a virgin over 2,000 years ago, and that little virgin was about 13 years of age when she
Was overcome by the Holy Spirit. And she was impregnated with the very seed of God. Of course, she had to keep it quiet. She couldn't very well go to her mom. I mean, she was going down a road no one had ever been down before. Mary was the first one to carry the gospel. Did you know that? No one had ever been down that path before. She couldn't go to her mom and say, really, Mom, God did this. Who would believe her? They kept it quiet. They kept it a secret. But on that Christmas morning, the angels couldn't keep it quiet. That's what I love about angels. They can't keep a secret either. I had the worst time keeping secrets. My idea of keeping a secret is telling one person at a time. But they rolled the heavens back and they said, glory to God, peace on earth, goodwill to men. For unto you is born this day in the city of David a Savior. The shepherds came running, the wise men came running, and I've often wondered what was going through Mary's mind when she cradled in her arms the Lord Jesus. I wonder if she realized those little hands that were now forming around hers were the same hands that had scooped out the oceans and formed the rivers. Those little feet were the same feet that had walked on stars and been worshipped by angels. Those little lips were the same lips that had spoken the worlds into existence. I wonder what was going through her mind when the one who had spoken the worlds into existence was now uttering unintelligible baby noises in her arms. I wrote a little song that I never recorded. I've never recorded up until this night, and a lot of people have sung it, and I'm very blessed that they have. I didn't write the music. Buddy Green wrote the music. I figure if you can't read music, you really shouldn't be writing it. But I wrote the words, and I hope you to indulge me tonight as I sing a song I wrote several years ago. Mary, did you know that your baby boy will one day walk on water? Mary, did you know that your baby boy save our sons and daughters? Did you know that your baby boy has come to make you new? This child that you delivered will soon deliver you. Mary, did you know that your baby boy will give sight to a blind man? Mary, did you know your baby boy will calm a storm
with his hand. Did you know that your baby boy has walked where angels trod? When you kiss your little baby, you kissed the face of God. The blind will see, the dead will hear, the dead will live again. The lame will leap, the dumb will speak, the praises of the Mary, did you know that your baby boy is Lord of all creation? Mary, did you know that your baby boy will one day rule the nations? Did you know that your baby boy is heaven's perfect lamb? This sleeping child you're holding is the great
During the making of the animated Christmas classic, A Charlie Brown Christmas, Peanuts creator Charles Schulz had a meeting with Lee Mendelson, the show's producer, and Bill Melendez, its lead animator. The discussion concerned Schultz's insistence about including a New Testament scripture reading of the Christmas story from the Bible. Sorry, Mike. It's good, man. It's all good. The scripture's reading was to be spoken by Peanuts character Linus Van Pelt in response to Charlie Brown's lament. Isn't there anyone who knows what Christmas is all about? Mendelson and Melendez both voiced their concern about the reading, with Melendez telling Schulz, "It's very dangerous for us to start talking about religion now." Schulz answered him by saying, "Bill, if we don't, who will?" In the end, the scripture reading was retained, and the CBS special was the second most watched show of the week when it debuted on December 9th, 1965. Linus's King James Version scripture reading from Luke 2, 8-14 reads like this. And there were in the same country shepherds abiding in the field, keeping watch over their flock by night. And lo, the angel of the Lord came upon them, and the glory of the Lord shone round them, and they were sore afraid. And the angel said unto them, Fear not, for behold, I bring to you good tidings of great joy, which shall be to all people. For unto you is born this day in the city of David a Savior, which is Christ the Lord. And this shall be a sign unto you. Ye shall find the babe wrapped in swaddling clothes, lying in a manger. And suddenly there was with the angel a multitude of the heavenly hosts, praising God and saying, "Glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace, goodwill toward men." That's what Christmas is all about, Charlie Brown. Now, the part that strikes me about this is, in 1965, they were worried even then about bringing this scripture onto television. Nothing has changed.
A little footnote on that. That was about the time that woman had gotten the prayers taken out of the schools.
Indeed.
Okay.
Which is why he said, it's very dangerous for us to start talking about religion now. I cannot remember that woman's name, and perhaps it's just as well as she's passed on into forgetfulness. We've only got a couple minutes here, so ladies and gentlemen, if you would, please bow your heads and join us for a moment of prayer. Precious Heavenly Father, Almighty and ever-living God, there are so many things we could ask. And there are so many things that we will ask, but not tonight. Tonight we stand here humbled because we are so unworthy of what we have already been given. During this time we acknowledge your greatest gift to mankind, the gift of our salvation through your Son, our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. We would ask that you heal our hearts, Father. Allow us to accept the insults, the hardness that is being thrown at your people. Let it roll off of us and not return it in kind. Because the easiest thing for us to do is to return insult for insult and hate for hate. We don't have the strength to stand, but with you all things are possible. We ask that you watch over our listeners and all of our loved ones during the coming year. Give us the strength to do what we need to do. But not our will, but thy will be done. For these petitions and all the many blessings we have already received, we thank you, Father. In the name of your most precious gift, our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, the only King to whom we will ever bend our knee. Let all God's people say amen.
Amen.
Gentlemen, we're at the end of it. This is the last show of the year. Parting thoughts.
One parting shot. When somebody comes up to you and says Merry Christmas, take it for what it is. It's our God's blessing to you and your God, whoever you may call or whatever you may call him.
If you even have one. Accept it in the spirit that it is given.
I got nothing.
Nothing, really?
Nothing.
Well, folks, this is the last show for the year. We will see you in the new year, and from all of us at the Pennsylvania American Patriot Radio Network, here at Braveheart, may the peace and joy of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, be with you now and throughout the coming year. From all of us here, good night.
Stars are brightly shining, Jesus
Didn't get paid?
Still got 6.5 minutes.
Okay, because while we've got this, I got something to talk about. Shit, I got this. I still owe the money.
What?
Did,
I'll let you know.
did that poem hit it or what?
I will admit, it got to you a lot more than it got to me.
Huh?
My heart's a lot harder than yours.
That's fine.
It just,
Hey, everybody has a different emotion. Different things.
good, absolutely appropriate.
Not
You know, there is a guy at work who is in Vietnam, and him and I knock heads constantly. But there's one thing that he respects me for, and that is every November 14th, I shake his hand and wish him a happy Veterans Day. And I showed him that poem, and even he choked up.
Much at this point to say that the entire state is under Riek Machar's control.